Oh no, I muted myself. Oh dear, I just realized I have not been speaking for almost 3 minutes. So anyways, what I was saying was I have about 3 hours today to play. Hopefully we'll get kind of far. I am on Kai's train and I don't know how to say Shizuki's name still. I'm trying. I'm getting a little better every day. We're gonna start over. I have skipped through a bit of the dialogue. We're gonna rewind. Alright, soon it would be midnight. I walk through the streets of Shinjuku. I think this is hilarious because I literally said this is such a quiet game, and that's how I realized I have no voice right now. There's no sound in the game, like there's no background noise. It's just dead silence, and I feel like it's weird after a few minutes of like not even like a melody. All right, I walked through the streets of Shinjuku alone. After we finished interviewing witnesses, I returned to the station and filled in a report. Filed in a report? Filed in a report. My whole body was racked with fatigue. Just want to go home and rest. Still, I also want to know what Sasuke, Suka, and the others at the office managed to learn about this incident. I ripped myself into shape and began hurrying to the office. When I arrived in front of the office, I stopped in my tracks. Someone's collapsed. I've seen the figure of someone collapse in the alleyway. Are you okay? All right, we're finally caught up. I am not on mute anymore. Ha 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 ha. As I rushed over in surprise, I was even more shocked when I saw his face. Oh my gosh. Okazaki! His eyes were covered by an eye mask, but from the rest of his appearance, it was definitely Okazaki. An eye mask? I leaned in to get a better look at Okazaki. His rising and falling breath were unmistakably the breath of a sleeper. No way. He fell asleep here, of all places. I reached out to shake him awake, but my hand stopped just short of touching his shoulder. Actually, it would be better if he didn't see me. I'd be in trouble if the police found out about me. It'd be best to steer clear of him, but I can't just leave him here. Okazaki! I tried calling him in a quiet voice, but he showed no sign of waking. Okazaki! I raised my voice louder. Oh, actually, sorry, I'm gonna take a moment. I changed my camera settings. I don't know if this is better or not. For some reason, my preview looks really, really nice. My stream video doesn't look the same as my preview, and so I get a little confused. It's not as blurry as it was. I felt like I kept seeing my little picture in the corner being really, 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 really blurry, and so I messed with it to see if I could fix it, but then I see the preview and like it at the same time, and the preview looks great. The actuality does not look the same. So this is what it is, and I'm sorry if it gets out of focus. I've been trying to make it not. All right, anyways, back to character. Scene. All right. I raised my voice louder than before, but he still didn't wake up. What now? What you doing there? I spun around to face the unexpected voice from behind me. There was a man standing there. I didn't notice him at all. Because of my job, I tend to be pretty good at noticing people nearby, but he was able to approach from behind, and I'd completely failed to notice this man until he spoke. Are you sleeping? It sounds like a hammer. I'm gonna go with it's a hammer. They are doing construction in the apartment next to me. So I heard what sounded like knocking, but I think it's a hammer. Okay. Oh my. Okay. I'm positive it's a hammer. I'm like 85% positive that's a hammer. We'll find out. All right. You're sleeping here again, sir? Sir? I reflectively spoke and was met with a smile. That guy doesn't wake up easily once he falls asleep. But he'll definitely wake up if you do this. Saying that, the man rolled up his sleeves. He also drew a handgun from his holster. What? Dear. Oh my gosh, this guy has reflexes. Okay. What? Okazaki was up in a flash and he unleashed a lightning quick spinning roundhouse kick. The gun was knocked out of the other man's hand. Wait, sir! Yeah. The man lost his balance, stumbled even further, and went down with a crash. My eyes couldn't keep up with how fast the takedown had been. What happened?
あれ吉成くんだったんだ。ごめん。
Oh, it's just you, Yoshinari. Sorry.
ひどいっすよ先輩。
That was horrible, sir.
っていうか途中で俺だって気づいてたでしょ。
Also, you totally noticed it was me halfway through. Yeah,
せめて否定してください。
at least deny it.
吉成くんなら避けられるかなって。殺気はないって分かってたし、つい。
I figured you'd be able to dodge it. I thought you'd notice I wasn't trying to kill you. I was still flabbergasted as I saw Okazaki casually brush the dirt from his uniform with a pleasant smile. I knew that SP officers were physically impressive, but the gap between my expectations and reality was pretty shocking.
あ、猫さん、こんばんは。
Kitty cat, good evening. Okazaki smiles wanly as if he had only noticed me there for the first time. He probably noticed me before. Despite how I found him, he had a sharp sense. The fact that he reacted so casually was likely due to his personality.
ああ、この人が例の星野さんか。
A cat? You're Hoshino. Huh? Did I introduce myself? No, I don't recall ever
自
doing
分は
that.
吉成秀明と申します。岡崎先輩とコンビ組んでて。
My name is Hidaki Yoshinari. Okazaki and I are teamed up to... I'm gonna assume he's gonna get
吉成く
swapped.
ん。
Yoshinari?
え、いったいたたたたたた。先輩足なんで踏むんですか。
Your foot! Why are you stepping on me? While I was confused by the greeting, Okazaki was angrily stepping on Yoshinari's foot.
あ、ああ。俺もしかしてやらかしました。
Did I do something wrong? Yep. I noticed that Yoshinari had an SP badge on his chest too, which
い
means...
やー、それにしても今日はいい天気っすね、先輩。
Oh, can you believe the nice weather we're having today, sir?
もう夜だよ、吉成くん。
It's nighttime, Yoshinari.
そうっすよね。そう。こんな夜中に女性の一人歩きは危ないんじゃないですか？ね、先輩。
You're right. Oh, isn't it dangerous for a lady to be walking home at this hour? Right, sir? He was clearly trying to change the subject, desperately so. Still looking annoyed, Okazaki let out a sigh and nodded.
それは俺も思う。いくら銃を持ってても夜は危ないよ。吉成くんの言う通り、君は可愛いから。
I concur. You may be armed, but the nights are dangerous, as Yoshinari mentioned. You're a cute
は
one.
い。可愛いとまでは言ってません。
Oh, I never said she was cute.
吉成くん。
Right, Yoshinari?
はい、そうっすね。超可愛いっす。
Yes, sir. Super cute. I don't want to hear that it's dangerous to walk alone from a guy who falls asleep in an alleyway. More importantly, I absolutely had to be cautious of Okazaki. Yoshinari's earlier panic had been trying to cover up the fact that they both had figured out my name, which means Okazaki already
吉成
knows.
くん。タケルくんたちの様子を見てきてくれる？
Yoshinari, why don't you check on Takeru and them?
了解っす。あとはお若い人たちでごゆっくり。
Take it easy, sir. Take it. Oh, you got it. Take it easy, youngin. I still got it backwards. After watching Yoshinari disappear, Okazaki smiled
彼の
weakly.
方が若いんだけどね。
That guy's younger than I am. Okazaki went quiet and we shared an awkward silence together. He was watching me. It looked like he wasn't sure how to break the ice. So you knew. Obviously, he knew my name, but he'd probably also figured out my identity too. Okazaki nodded slightly with a troubled
ごめん
smile.
ね。調べさせてもらった。立場上無視するわけにはいかなくて。
Sorry, I looked into you. It's my job, so I couldn't just ignore you. That much was obvious. To him, I was a strange woman who approached the people he was protecting, knowing that I had no right to complain about either his caution or his background check. SP could request coordination with the police. So if you looked me up, he'd know it in no time. No, I should be the one to apologize for misleading you about my identity. Let me introduce myself. I'm Lee Hishino from Shinjuku Police.
彼らに近づくのは仕事の一環?
Did you approach them as part of your job? I wasn't sure how to answer that direct question. Let's see. Ooh. Oh, no. I can't say. Right now, I had no idea if I should say yes or no. Even if I found a clever way to lie to him, it probably wouldn't work. And above all, I was very reluctant to lie to a fellow police officer. I can't say. After thinking it over, that's what I decided. Trust went up. He likes me more. Sort of, I guess. Is this what this is? Is this even how it goes? Okazaki's demeanor didn't change and he smiled wanly at me again.
そっか。じゃあ質問を変えるね。ね。君は警察官として動いてる?
Let me change the question then. Are you working as a police officer? Removing the collar was my top priority. In any case, my life was at stake. Still, I had a very strong suspicion that the collar would be a key to solving the X-Day incidents. And if I was the clue that would lead us closer to the culprits, then I certainly wanted to use that to its fullest extent. That was my conviction as a police officer. Yes. When I nodded, Okazaki seemed to smile in relief.
大丈夫だね.
That's good then. In other words, he wouldn't be able to overlook it if I was acting on my own rather than as part of my duty as an officer. That's fine. Okazaki, is your mission to protect Yanagi and his team? Is there some reason they're so valuable? After taking some time to reflect on my question, Okazaki's face turned slightly serious.
X-Day 事件が警察の体制に反感を持つ組織によるテロだとしたら、元警察の彼らにも危険が及ぶ可能性がある。
If the organization behind the X-Day crimes has some animosity towards the police, then they're in trouble too, since they're former
特に
police.
彼らは在職時に能力を買われていた人材で、今は独自に X-Day 事件を捜査している立場でしょ?
In particular, they're a group of talented individuals investigating the X-Day crimes.
事件に巻き込まれる可能性が高いし、元は同じ組織だった彼らを放っておけないしね。
Ooh, it's likely they'll be drawn into an attack. We can't just ignore our former comrades. It was a plausible explanation, but he spoke like he was detached from it all. The SP's primary mission is to prevent valuable people or regular civilians to protect valuable people or regular civilians in great danger. Shinjuku had turned into a dangerous area, so there should be plenty of people in the city more important than Yanagi and his team. Moreover, it seemed bizarre to me that SP would task its valuable resources to address the potential threat to former officers. He's hiding something after all.
俺が守るべきものはね、特別で、大切で、とても重くて。
That's why I should be protecting something special, precious, a heavy burden, something that's irreplaceable. Man, he looks angry. He looks like a mad guy. I could still clearly recall Okazaki's profound tone when he said that. Does he mean Yanagi's team? No, that's probably not it. The way he looked when he said that, he had to be referring to something else. Is he watching Yanagi's group in order to protect that other thing? Does he suspect them of being on the other side?
困らせちゃったかな?
I've troubled you. My expression must have given away my skepticism. I felt. Okazaki shook his head with a bitter smile and spoke while looking up at the office building.
彼らを守る必要はあるよ。少なくとも今の俺にはね。
They need to be protected by me. For now, at least.
犯人と接触する可能性があるくらい、実力も捜査にかける熱意も本物だと思う。
As long as there's a chance they'll find Adonis, their talent and passion are genuine, I think.
だからこそ、俺は。
That's why. He abruptly paused. His gaze was distant and then he dropped. Okazaki?
だから俺は彼らともっと仲良くなりたいって思うんだよね。
That's why I want to be friendlier with them. They're good people. Right.
守るべき人間としてふさわしいか。それを知りたいっていうのもあるかな。
Whether they're worthy of being protected, maybe I want to know that too. Don't you have it backwards? He'd been charged with protecting people and he didn't even know if they're worth protecting.
それから、君ともね。
And you too.
君とももっと仲良くなりたいな。
I want to get along better with you too. When he said that, I grew wary again. I felt like I was being misled in several ways. While it might have been a compliment, I had no idea of Okazaki's true intention, so it felt disconcerting. I can do this. Consorting? Certing? There's a T in that. Oh no. Disconcerting would have another N. Disconcerting, I guess. I felt I should keep my distance.
ね。もしかして事務所に用事があったんじゃない？
Didn't you have some business with the guys in the office? I finally remembered what I originally came here to do.
やっぱり。だったら俺も一緒に行くよ。
I knew it. I'll come with you then. Huh? This is very bad. I couldn't speak openly with Yanagi's team if the topic of the caller was off limits. I could only imagine how upset they would be having Okazaki there. I'll be fine. I can get there on my own. I firmly denied him, but Okazaki just took my hand and dragged me along. This guy.
遠慮しなくてもいいよ。
No need to be shy. I'm not being shy. Okazaki didn't let go. No matter what I did, I eventually entered the office half dragged. Nice.
だからそもそも勝手に入ってくんなって何回言えばわかるんだよ。
How many times have I told you not to barge into here like you belong? Is that voice Inomoto?
照れなくてもいいんですよ、峰尾さん。この吉成秀明、たとえ槍が降ろうと四六時中あなた方を守ります。キリ
No need to be so shy. Mineo, Hideki Yoshinari, will be here to shield you from danger, rain or shine. How'd you like that? That's right. Okazaki sent Yoshinari ahead first. I timidly stepped into the noisy room.
キリじゃねえよ。だいたい照れてねえし、迷惑だって言ってんだ。
I don't like it at all, and I'm not being shy. You're a pain in the ass.
峰尾さんはまだ俺の進化を分かっていませんね。
Mineo, you haven't figured out my true worth, have you?
なんだそりゃ。
And what might that be?
俺はこう見えてすっごく役に立つ人間なんです。例えば。
I might look like this, but I'm actually a super helpful guy. For
その
example.
本棚に隠してあるいかがわしい本。好きな子にバレそうになった時には、俺がささっとさりげなく懐に入れたり。
If that indecent book you've stashed in your bookshelf is ever discovered by a girl you fancy, I'll hide it in my pocket in a flash.
お前俺の秘密をどこまで知ってんだよ
You punk! How many of my secrets do you know?
聞きたいっすかじゃあ奥のベッドの下にある DVD のタイトルは
Oh, do you really want to know? The title of that DVD you have hidden under your bed is...
やめてお願いだからそれ以上言わないで
No, stop! I'm begging you, don't say it. It was pretty obvious that Okazaki wasn't the only person that was viewed as a nuisance around the office, but they look like they're having fun. Maybe he actually gets along well with Inomoto. I had taken the opportunity to enter, so Inomoto noticed me gawking at the scene in the doorway.
Okazaki までなんで連れてきてんだよ。
And Okazaki too? Why'd you bring that guy here?
厄介なのが揃ったな。
Quite the collection of troublemakers. Yanagi emerged from behind the partition with an exasperated look on his face.
何考えてんだバカ猫。
Really?
さっさと追い出せ。
Idiot cat, get him out of here. Okazaki looked up from his computer to snap at me. Did they just put the wrong name there? That's not his name. Is it? Those are some painful stares. But Okazaki ignored the criticism and turned to Sazuka with a raised index finger.
こら、タケルくん。バカ猫はかわいそうだよ。せめて猫さんって呼んであげて。
Takaru, calling her stupid cat is rude. You should at least call her Miss Cat. Look, Cat isn't my name.
あ、そうだよね。だったら、俺はちゃんと名前で呼びたいな。
Oh, that's true. Then I'd prefer to use your given name. My given name.
呼んでもいい？
Lee, can I call you that? He flashed a smile that seemed so pure, my heart skipped a beat. Enchanted by that smile, I unthinkingly responded with downcast eyes. Sure, if you like. Lee. Oh, man.
おいおいおい、ちょっと待った。そこ、何ほのぼのしてんだよ。
Oi, hang on a second. You there, quit spacing out.
こら、そのボケボケ SP と和んでる場合じゃねえだろ。
Listen, this is no time to be getting all chummy with SP.
岡崎、悪いがこいつと個人的な話がある。今日のところは帰ってくれないか。
Sorry, Okazaki, but she has business with us. Could you leave for today?
個人的な話？
Personal? Okazaki looked back and forth between Yanagi and I blankly. His shoulders drooped a bit and he sighed quietly.
わかった。吉成くん、帰ろう。
Okay, let's go, Yoshinari.
また来るっす。次は差し入れ買ってきますね。
We'll be back. I'll bring refreshments next time.
もう二度と来んじゃねえ。
Never come back. When they left, everybody in the room sighed heavily.
バカ猫。なんで連れてきやがった。
Stupid cat. Why did you bring him?
まさかお前らいつの間にそういう関係に。
Don't tell me you two are like that. Not at all. I just spotted him downstairs. My goodness. I explained what had happened earlier and how I'd been discovered.
やっぱりそうか。いずれはバレることだったら仕方ない。
I knew it. We knew this was only a matter of time.
首輪のことがバレなければいいんだ。管轄も違うし、今のところは巡回ルートに入ってるとでも言ってごまかすしかないな。
We just need to make sure the caller stays secret. You have different jurisdictions. If you run into him on patrol, you'll just have to lie to
とりあえ
him.
ず電波調べた限りじゃこの部屋が盗聴されてるようなことはね。
Anyways, as far as electronic surveillance goes, this room is protected against
そもそも
eavesdroppers.
あいつら機械音痴だから盗聴器をつけられるような心配ねえけどな。
The guy's also a tech illiterate, so we don't have to worry about him bugging the place.
それより窓の外に張り付いて盗み聞きしてる可能性の方が高いだろう。
But there is a good chance that he could spy on us while hanging from a window. That's happened before, even on the 5th floor. What's their image of those? What's their image of those two? This wasn't the time to be imagining such things. I had a reason for coming here. So about today's incident, how much do all of you know about it?
笹塚が得た情報の範囲だが。
All we have is what Sasuka learned. Ooh, I said it right. Sasuka. I nailed it. All right. Summing up what I heard from Yanagi, he knew the crime occurred at the victim's residence. The murder weapon was a suppressed firearm, so the neighbors didn't notice the gunshots. The victim was currently unemployed. He was employed at a game development studio. I think his name was Satori Tanaka? It matched everything I knew.
お前の方で他に得た情報はあるか？
Did you learn anything else? According to statements from witnesses, the victim had moved in recently and seemed to have a nocturnal lifestyle. Also, he he also seemed to be afraid of going outside.
当然だな。いつ自分が次のターゲットになるか気が気じゃなかったんだろう。
Figures. He probably thought he could be the next target. He was probably worried sick. You're saying that he anticipated that he would be
コイ
targeted?
ンも一致したし、確定だ。どうせ容疑者はすぐ捕まるだろうけど、あとは俺が調べる。
The coin was identical to this, so this is a match. They'll probably haul in a suspect soon, but I'll look into the rest. Sasaka ignored my question and continued to
被害者の田中悟
report.
は8月の事件の発端になった例のネットゲームの開発者だ。
The victim, Satori Tanaka, is connected to the August incident. He programmed on the online game from the case. Eh? I turned to Yanagi in surprise. I now understood what Sasaka was getting at. So that's why he knew he might be a target. He must have been in constant fear. In August, many players of a popular online video game had been murdered. If Tanaka was part of the development staff for the game, he had a reason to be targeted.
だが問題はそこじゃない。今回の事件で重要視すべきなのは、これまでの X デー事件とは経路が違うことだ。
That is not the problem. The important thing to focus on is that the style of this murder is different from all the others. What do you mean? You think it might be a copycat crime?
そこからかよ。
You're still that far behind? Oh my god, this guy hates me. Sasuke sounded disgusted with me, but I paid him no mind and looked at
これまで
Yanagi.
と同じように、現場にローマ数字やコインは残されていた。
There was a Roman numeral and a coin left at the scene, as with the previous
白石
crime.
に確認したが、コインは例の特殊な作りのやつでな。模倣犯でないことは確実だ。
She confirmed that the coin uses the same unique construction method, so it's definitely not a copycat crime.
わざとってことになるんすかね。
I knew they'd do this on
そう
purpose.
です
Bastards.
じゃなきゃ、犯人側の行動に説明がつかない。
Otherwise, there'd be no explaining their action. What do you mean on purpose? Once I confirmed that I still wasn't quite following along, Sasuke pointedly sighed very
操作し
loudly.
ないと殺すって言われてんだから、足りない脳みそ使って本気で考えろよ。
I said I'd kill you if you didn't do your homework, so use your worthless brain and think for
考
once.
えたところで使えないだろうけどな。
Though I doubt you'll think of anything useful. This man is so rude. I felt the blood rush to my
What?
face.
最低限の操作能力は知っときたいよな。お前はなんか不審に思う点とかなかったのか。
It'd be good to get an idea of your skills. Did you notice anything suspicious? Suspicious? What was different about this crime? We're gonna save. Because if he calls me dumb, we're gonna start that over again. The scope of the broadcast. First, the scope of the broadcast was smaller. The X-Day crime so far had used publicly viewable videos to highlight police scandals and the inadequacies of the law. But for some reason, this video had only been sent to the police.
そうだな。じゃあ、なぜ警察に限定して送ったんだと思う？
That's right. So why would they only send it to the police? They only wanted the police to know. I did it! Oh god, thank you, Professor Layton. Alright, that's right. I patted myself in relief again, getting it right.
ま、あっちの意図に挑発が含まれてるのは間違いねえけどな。
There's no doubt they intended to
動
provoke
画の配
us.
信を警察内部に限定したのは、警察がすぐには一般公開しないと踏んでたからだ。
It was sent only to the police because they knew the police wouldn't immediately release
さら
it.
に警察内部でも情報漏洩を恐れて、一部の人間にしか知らせねえって。
The police are afraid of leaks, so they'd keep it on a
つまり
need-to-know
犯人は
basis.
動画を見ることができる人間を 一部に絞りたかったってこと。
In other words, the culprit wants to narrow their audience down to those in the know. But all the others were shown across the nation. Why would they limit it this time?
そこをお前が考えて答えるんじゃねえの？
What's wrong with you, Inamoto? Like, what the heck? Stop it. I've been called stupid by, like, the one guy in the middle 16 times today. Can we stop? Can't you answer that if you think about it? Yeah. They limit its release because they sent it to the police by accident? That would be weird. I hope I have 100 save files. They wanted to throw out the investigation. They wanted to derail the investigation, right?
そういうことっすよね。
That's right, I think. Yanagiri.
これまでは全国に動画を公開していたが、多くの人間の目に触れる分、寄せられる情報も多かった。
Previous videos were streamed to the public, but when you have that many eyes analyzing things, you get a lot of
映って
insight.
いる人、場所、物、どんな些細な情報でも引っかかれば集まる。
The people in the video, the location, objects, we can collect all those small details.
ま、無駄な情報が多すぎても混乱するが、捜査側は情報が多いに越したことはない。
An overabundance of information can be confusing, but investigators need all the help they can get. There was a specific reason why Adonis limited the release of the video when they usually wanted the general public to watch. Basically, they were afraid that the police would catch on too quickly.
そう。まあここまで言えば、さすがに新人のお前にもわかるか。
What is wrong with you guys? It's like nice, mean, meanie. Ugh, I don't like it. Alright, yep. Makes sense that even a newbie like you could latch onto that. But they still made a statement knowing it could be a liability.
で、狙ったかのようなタイミングで、ギリギリ犯人が逃げた直後に、警察が現場に駆け込んだ。
And that person barely escaped and got out of there before the cops had made their way to the scene of the
そして
crime.
X デイ事件は単独犯じゃない。アドニスという組織ぐるみで行われている計画的な犯罪だ。
The X-Day crimes haven't been lone acts. They're committed as part of a larger plan by the whole of Adonis.
そしてここまでの情報で犯人側アドニスの意図をどう推察する？
Hoshino, based on what you know so far, what do you think that Adonis is planning? What do you... They deliberately sent the video to the police. They had chosen a window that ran the risk of the culprit being apprehended. The first thing I could conclude was... They're worried? What if they agree with me no matter what I say? What if I'm making all these options and they're the dumbest options? Okay. The crime was planned poorly. They're worried about the police investigation. Maybe that they're worried about the police attention.
その可能性もゼロとは言い切れないが。
Seemed like he didn't like it. Can't rule it out entirely.
だったら最初から予告なんかしなければいいってことにならね。
You're making me nervous. Let's load that up and do the other option. No. Yeah. Crime was poorly planned. Was the crime poorly planned?
そういうことになる。
Looks like it. I knew it. I knew it all along. Oh gosh. Previous X-Day crimes were elaborately designed murders. Because Jigsaw is our president. No unnecessary evidence was left at the scene. Suspect with apparent motive had unnaturally clean alibis. The crime scene had nondescript video evidence, but this time that was all different. Whether or not they had done it for the thrill, they had been far too lackadaisical in their crimes. If they were slower, they might have been caught, but they still made a video, which means,
何が考えられる？
what do you think? They had prepared for that outcome even if they were caught. It wouldn't hurt Adonis. Rather, it might play right into their hands. Is that right?
ここまでたどり着くのにどんだけ時間かけんだよ。
Do you know how long it took you to get caught up?
ま、最初だしな。捜査経験ねえのに。
No, I don't like you, Inamoto. I'm pretty sure you're the Dr. Jekyll of this situation. Come on, she's new. She's got no experience. It'd actually be scary if she knew right away.
ここに来てあえて計画性の浅い犯行を起こした理由は、まだ推測の域だが。
Dang, we can only speculate as to why they get so sloppy after being so cynical thus
駒を
far,
切り捨て
but
にかかった可能性は高いな。
it's likely that they're disposing of their pawns.
ま、今日の事件の容疑者はもうほぼ絞られてるはずだ。
The list of potential suspects will be narrowed down soon.
おそらく近日中に捕まるな。
We'll likely see arrest in the near future. Eh? Hmm? The conversation had moved past me again, and I thought hurriedly.
これだけヒントを与えても目的達成は揺るがないって自信があんだろう。だよな。首輪の向こうで聞いてるサイコ野郎。
They're confident that they'll achieve their goal even if they give us these hints, right, psycho bastard listening on the collar? I imagined a prick of pain to come from the collar in response to Sasuke's abrasive challenge, but the collar didn't respond or inject anything into my body.
何にせよ、アドニスのやり方が変わってきているのは事実だ。
At any rate, Adonis's methods have undoubtedly
指揮系
changed.
統が入れ替わったが、内部分裂が。これも計画の内か。慎重に見極める必要がある。
Maybe their command structure changed, or there's infighting, or this is all part of the plan. We'll have to proceed
それが
carefully.
つけ入る隙になるかもしれないっすからね。
It could also be the opening we've been waiting for. As Inamoto nodded spiritually, Yanagi muttered
白
something.
石が言うには、だいぶ前から変だって話だが。
According to Shirashi, things have been strange for a while now.
っていうかこれ毎回やるのかよ。バカ猫への説明会。
Are we going to hold a lecture for this stupid cat on every topic?
今節丁寧に説明してやったところで時間の無駄としか思えないんだけど。
Explaining every single detail to you isn't a colossal waste of time. Sasuke's words struck a nerve. It was true I couldn't keep up with their discussion, and I was aware of my own limits. But you don't have to go and put it like that.
もともと8月は笹塚の担当だ。あとはお前に任せる。
Sasuke's already on the August case. I'll leave the rest to you.
了解。
Roger that. Yanagi changed the subject without commenting on Sasuke's remarks. I guess I should take his silence to mean that he agrees. It wasn't just Sasuke, Yanagi, and Inamoto who thought... Inamoto also, though, thought poorly of my detective skills. But if I could give them any details on what went on in the station, that was enough. That was the only reason I was here. It was a painful realization.
で、お前はどうするんだ？どの事件を追うか決まったのか？
So what are you gonna do? What case have you decided to take? I looked up and blinked in confusion at the sudden question and calmed me somewhat. I mentally reviewed everything I knew about the X-Day incidents. Sasuke is right. This team has been pursuing the case for a long time, so it was clear I was wasting their time by getting involved without knowing anything. The Roman numeral left at the crime scene today was 1. The last number would be 0. There wasn't even a month left until X Day. What can I do during that brief time? My duty and the situation I'd been forced into. Whenever I factored them both in, if I was oblivious. Compared to the rest of you, I don't have any outstanding talents, nor do I have much experience with detective work, but I want to help out any way I possibly can.
お前にできること。
And what can you
None.
possibly contribute? Sasuke, you are mean. I can listen to what people are talking about. When I started to clear stated it clearly. The three of them were clearly caught off guard. Yesterday, when I looked through the X-Day files, what jumped out at me was a person that was neither the victim nor the assailant. The victim in the incident was a woman who was once the victim of an obsessive stalker.
7月の事件のことか。
You're talking about July. Yes, for a time, she was suspected to be involved in the murder of the stalker. She also suffered severe backlash from the public. People were alleging that she might have been stalked through some fault of her own. Her background was thoroughly checked, but no connections were found to either the terrorist nor the man who killed the stalker. After that, her description was excised from official documents. Whether or not she was connected to the incident, it has taken a heavy toll on her reputation. The police bear some responsibility for failing to stop the stalking in the first place. I wonder if I could meet her and ask about what had really happened. Besides, nobody else is working on this case. I wouldn't waste the team's time, and I was sure my position would help me find some information. That was another reason I wanted to take this one. The assailant was arrested at the scene of the crime and is currently still in detention. He hadn't tried to commit suicide like the detained September suspect did and was still being held in the detention center. Whether it was actually self-defense is unknown. I want to learn the truth of this incident. After my lengthy proposal, the other three seemed to be slightly impressed.
7月はその女性を中心とした事件であることは間違いない。
There's certainly no doubt that this woman was central to the July homicide.
ストーカーをこじらせた人物が女性に危害を加えようとして返り討ちにあった。それだけの事件にも見える。
At a glance, it looks like someone aggravated the stalker into threatening the woman. It may very well just appear that way, but
殺されたストーカー男の部屋からは X-Day 事件を象徴するコインが発見されてる。
X-Day calling
模倣犯
cards
じゃないのは確実だ。
were found at the residence of the dead stalker. They've been verified as genuine.
つまりだな、これまで同様に計画性のある X-Day 事件だってこと。どうだ、わかったか？
Meaning that this one was carefully planned, like the other X-Day murders. Got all that? Yep.
何偉そうに言ってんだ、単細胞バカが。
Get off your high horse, you dumb protozoan.
うるせえな。新人教育っつったら俺の出番だろうが。
Lay off, man. It's my turn to teach the rookie.
バカとバカがくっついてくれた方が俺は助かる。
Well, it would save me some headaches to have the blind lead the blind.
ちやかましいワカメだなったく。つっても、7月の事件の情報については、俺たちもあんまり把握できてないんだよな。
You're an awfully mouthy seaweed head. Anyway, the July murder is one that we've had the hardest time getting a handle
被
on.
害者が交流中だからか、警察内部の動きもやたら鈍いみたいでさ。
The police have been slow to act on it, maybe because the suspect's already in detention. Has Shirashi given you anything?
あいつは今9月の事件に夢中で他の事件に興味を示さない。
He's currently fixated on the September crime, so he isn't interested in anything else. I see.
お前が内部から情報を集めてくれるなら助かる。
To be honest, it would help us out if you could give us some information on it. Okay. With that, the meeting ended. It was late, so Yanagi decided he'd walk me home. December 7th incident has been added to materials. Thank you. Thank you. While we walked down the stairs, Yanagi looked back at me with a concerned look.
榎本も言っていたが、7月の事件は俺たちの方でもあまり深く調べてなくてな。
Enomoto mentioned this earlier, but we haven't looked too deeply into July's incident. There's a suspect in custody
私
after
の
all.
情報は少ないが、何かあったら連絡してくれ。首輪のこともある。無茶はするなよ。
There may not be much to learn, but contact us if you learn anything. Don't push your luck. Remember the caller. Thank you. I was happy for his concern, but it didn't really resonate with me for some reason. A part of me has been relying on Yanagi's team. Not in a tangible way, but I've been tagging along. But that didn't sit right with me.
ところで星野、岡崎圭とやけに親しいみたいだったが。
And by the way, Hoshino, you seem pretty familiar with Kai Okazaki. No. I just happened to run into him a few times. We're not on particularly close
とぼけ
terms.
た顔して強引だからな。気づけば懐に入られやすいが。
He plays the fool, but he's pushy. If you allow it, he'll grow on you.
岡崎には気をつけろ。隙を見せない方がいい。
Be careful around Okazaki. Don't let your guard down. Huh? What are
俺が
you...
何
What about me?
What?
We turn around to face the voice. Okazaki was standing there smiling. I failed to notice him again.
お前、いつの間
When
に。
did you?
さっきからずっとここに立ってたんだけどな。
I've been here the whole time. Yanagi also seemed shocked that he'd failed to notice Okazaki. I definitely can't get careless around him.
もう帰るのだったら俺が送ってくよ。
Going home? I'll walk you back.
いや、星野は俺が送っていく。
No, I'm taking her
でも
home.
柳さんは彼女の家を知らないよね。
But you don't know where she lives, do
お
you?
前は知ってるのか？
And you do? No, well, he did walk me home one time because it was late.
じゃあ行こうか。
Then let's go.
勝手に決めるな。本人に案内してもらえば。
It's not your decision, Okazaki. She has to agree to it first.
でも知ってる人と一緒に帰った方が案内しなくていいから楽だよね。
If she's with someone who knows where she lives, it's better because she won't have to lead, right? Right now, I was walking down the street between Yanagi and Okazaki. In the end, they couldn't decide which of them would walk me home. Awkward. No matter how much I refused, I was beginning to realize that Okazaki was going to follow me wherever I went.
あのさ、前から思ってたんだけど。
Hi. Hey, I've noticed this for a while now. Okazaki addressed Yanagi from my other
柳
side.
さんは俺のことが嫌いだよね。
Yanagi, you really don't like me.
嫌いとかじゃなくてだな。
It's not that I dislike you. I understood what Yanagi wanted to say. He's doing this because he's worried about the collar. I would be in danger if the collar was exposed. Also, Yanagi didn't seem to accept the reason that Okazaki had provided for why he was protecting the team. It's not that he dislikes him, but he's probably just can't trust him.
お前が俺たちを監視しているのは知ってる。関わり合いになりたくないのは当然だろう。
We know that you're keeping us under surveillance. Obviously, we don't want to get involved with you.
もしかして俺が君たちのこと全部警察に報告するって思ってるの？
Did you think I was reporting everything you did to the police?
そう思うのが普通だ。
Anyone would think that.
まあとりあえず俺の任務のことは置いておくとして。
Setting aside my mission for the
そ
time
こ
being.
置いといちゃダメじゃないか？
You really think you can just ignore it like that?
とにかくね、俺は純粋に君たちのことを知りたいんだ。
Just for now. I honestly want to get to know you
な
better.
んでだ？
Why?
人として興味があるからかな。
Because I'm curious? While Yanagi and I were at a loss for an answer, Okazaki changed the subject.
さっき7月の事件がどうのって言ってたけど、もしかして再捜査してるの？
Earlier, you mentioned the July homicide. Could you be reopening the case? Eh? I involuntarily stiffened up. Just how long had he been eavesdropping on the conversation? Oh no, it was just something I'd taken personal interest in, so I was asking Yanagi about it. Okazaki smiled softly as I flumbled around for an
そんなに
excuse.
慌てないで。君の仕事に口出すつもりはないよ。
No need to get nervous. I won't tell anyone about your job.
何か事情があるんでしょ？同じ警察官だからって話せないことはあるし。
You've got some reason to be here, right? You're worried about me because I'm also a
そ
cop?
んなに警戒しなくても大丈夫。興味本位で聞いてみただけだから。
You don't have to be so cautious. I'm just asking this out of curiosity. Yanagi was very obviously having a hard time swallowing Okazaki's supposed flighty bounds of curiosity. His face said he was confused because he didn't know that what Okazaki was thinking.
7月の事件か。でもあれって正当防衛だって言われてるよね。
July, huh? People said that was justified self-defense,
加害
though.
者はすでに捕まってて、 ストーカー被害に遭った女性を守るためにやったことだって自白してる。
The assailant was immediately arrested and confessed to killing the man in order to protect the woman from her
あ
stalker.
とは過剰防衛かどうかだけど、
They're
守るためにやったことなのに
they're
罪
deciding
に問われるのは少し
So
かわい
sorry,
そうだ
Kai.
な。
They're deciding if it's excessive self-defense. I feel a little bad for him being arrested when he acted in order to protect someone. This excessive self-defense, this is a scenario where self-defense was justified, but the amount of force used in self-defense was greater than the threat necessitated. Oh man. No, I can't do it. The standards for this constitutes excessive force are ambiguous. Okay.
かわいそう。正当防衛だからといって殺人は殺人だ。許されるものじゃない。
You feel sorry for him? Self-defense or not, killing is killing. It can't be allowed. Yanagi's tone was unusually forceful. His expression grew stern.
加害者の男はもともと5月の事件で容疑者候補に上がっていた。
Besides, the assailant had previously been marked as a potential suspect for the May killing.
X 定事件の一つと考えれば、誰が見ても怪しいのは事実だ。
If you view the X gang crimes as a whole, anyone would think that he was a
あくまで
suspicious.
容疑者候補だし、5月の事件では確かなアリバイもあったよね。
A potential suspect. Plus, he had a solid alibi back in
それ
May.
に、彼がストーカーに襲われてた女性を守ったのも事実でしょ。
He did protect the woman from the stalker, didn't
守る
he?
ために必要な犠牲もあるよ。
Sometimes sacrifices have to be made.
だからって殺されていいわけじゃない。人の命を奪うのに正当な理由なんて一つもない。
That doesn't mean you can just kill people. There is never a good reason to take a life. They continued their debate across me, neither looking like they would back down. They seem to be incompatible. The way they think is completely opposite. Both of them had valuable perspectives about the July case. I reflected on their disagreement. I see Yanagi and Okazaki off and head back into my apartment. Near my house, I saw a silhouette. Kazuki? He's back early today. I felt a relief as I went to go talk
そ
to
れじゃ
him.
あ明日はスタジオで
See him at the studio. Yeah, I'll be
楽しみにして
waiting.
る
Is my baby brother in a band with a cool looking dude? Like, look at this guy. I noticed that Kazuki was talking to someone. He dressed loudly. Is that Kazuki's friend? But I recognized him from somewhere. Oh goodness, do I recognize him from somewhere? Is that his normal friend just looking cool? While I was thinking about it, both of them head off. What should I do? I missed my chance. Kazuki stays out often recently, and he also goes out late at night too. If he's hanging out with the wrong people... Oh goodness. Am I gonna die today? Oh, is this an option? I know there's bad endings in all games. Let's follow the other guy. I started to get worried and was already running before I could think. It's dark out. I just got dropped off because it's not safe to be out at night. Just a reminder. Live House Bay. I don't think it's a good to follow him, but I was curious about Kazuki's friends, and my curiosity got the better of me. A concert club? The man went inside. Excuse me. I nervously called him to stop. I'm sorry for being so forward, but may I have a word with
悪
you?
いけど急いでるから
I'm sorry, but I'm in a hurry. How should I explain it?
ずっと俺の後を
You've
つけ
been
てたよね
following me for a pretty good while, haven't you?
そ
That
ういうの迷惑だからやめてっていつも言ってるはずだよ
I've always asked you people to stop that because it's annoying.
出
Huh?
待ちも過度な付きまといも厳禁
You
俺
can't.
だけじゃなくて
Oh man, he's used to stalkers. I'm so sorry. You can't wait at the door or follow me around, not just to me, but the other members
君
too.
見たことないけど 新しい子。
I've never seen you before. Are you
ファン
new?
になってくれるのは嬉しい。でも、マナーは守って。
I'm happy that you've become a fan, but please at least show some etiquette. I'm so sorry.
ちゃん
No,
としてる他の子にも迷惑だから。
it'll be troubling to the other fans. Goodbye. He just leaves. He shut the door on me, and now I don't know what I should do. Did he mistake me for a groupie for his band or something? When I look back at my own actions, I felt ashamed because of how pathetic my actions seemed.
迷惑にも程があるよね。しかも新規とか
You're
超
so,
最悪。
you're so annoying acting like that, and you're new too, huh? I suddenly hear a voice nearby. Oh my god! Oh, she's so cute. Oh my goodness. I love her. Oh my god, what is this? Who is this? Oh, I turn around and I see a
た
young
だ
girl.
ね、あんたみたいなのが一番大嫌い。最低最悪の害虫ゴミ以下。
You know, Hana hates your kind the most. You're the worst kind of pest. She smiles while moving her face close to mine.
だから。
Anyway, I felt a strange pressure and stepped backwards. Die for me, Kay. Oh, cool. Oh my god, she's a little murderer! Oh, that's so great. Okay, before I could say anything, my vision slowly turned red. It felt like she hit me with a blunt weapon. That was the last thing I ever
ほん
felt.
ともう困っちゃう。あんたみたいなクズがいるから、ヒロ君が悲しむんだよ。
What should I do now? Garbage people like you are what make Hiro get
ヒロ
sad.
君を応援する同士なら、やっちゃいけないことくらい分かってよね。
If you're a fellow
Oh,
fan of Hiro, you
oh,
should
it's
know
going
that's you're not allowed to do that, and you probably can't hear me anymore.
ヒロ君を悲しませるなんて、ファン失格だよね。
If you make Hiro sad, then you're disqualified as his
だから、
fan.
この世界から消えるのが正解。今日もいいことしちゃった。
So you're disqualified from life too. I did something good today. I guess you better follow your brother. I didn't. Oh, beautiful. It's a gorgeous ending. I love it. Oh my god. Yes. Nice. 10-10. 10-10. Do I have anything in the album yet? Do I have event? No. No, these are pictures. I don't know if this one has... Do I literally have to beat it to get to chapters? I'm so confused. Alright, let's load that back up. Yeah. I mean, otherwise I'm dead, right? Alright, follow your brother. If it feels like the timing is right, I should try and ask him. He'd tell me to not get involved or that it didn't concern me and try to change the subject. I sighed at the predictable outcome while I followed Kazuki inside. I mean, alternatively, you could die. What is that?
今日執行者が起こしたという事件、私は何も聞いていないのですが。
Zero, I wasn't told a thing about the incident that agent carried out today.
12月のカウントダウンは一つだったはずです。それなのになぜ
There should only be one countdown in December, so why do this?
増やすどういう意味ですか
To increase them? What do you mean?
あなたの命令なら執行者は動きます。それだけは私もコントロールできません。分かっていてやっているのでしょう。
The agents move on your order. I can't control them once they do. You're doing this despite knowing that.
彼女ああ、首輪の実験体ですね。彼女が7月を気にしていたんですか
Her? Lee Hoshino, the collar experiment girl. Is she curious about July?
彼女のことを気にするんですね。いえ、何でもありません。
Can I have a bad ending? I want a bad good ending, a good bad ending. All right, you've taken quite the interest in her. No, never mind. And Zero's like the best name for somebody. Like, it's great. It's a great name. Ooh. Zero, our long-awaited goal is right before us. Don't distract yourself with trivialities.
たとえ私たちが選ぶ道をたがえても、昔誓ったあの約束だけは。
Even if you've chosen the wrong path, the oath we swore long ago is... Woo! Oh, I'm confused. I'm so confused. What was that load screen? All right. The next day, I was listening to the news on TV while making breakfast for Okazuki.
7月に起きた X デー事件の一つと言われるストーカー男性傷害致死事件の裁判は依然として難航しており
Judgment of the stalker manslaughter incident in July, considered an X-day crime, is still marred in delays. Why was it justified self-defense or not? The point was still undetermined. No progress, huh? I turned off the gas stove and transferred the omelet to a plate. Kazuki, breakfast is ready. You should eat it before it gets cold. I waited for a while, but no answer. With a sigh, I returned to the living room to get ready to go to work. You're not a good person at taking care of children, just for the record. When I went to the station, the first thing I should do is read more about July's incident in the database. I went to speak to detectives who were on the case at the time, but they might get suspicious if I approach them without a legitimate reason. I want none. Still, it's best to ask someone who was there. I walked thinking about my next step. Ah! I wasn't paying attention as I walked and I bumped into someone. This guy. That hurt. Watch where you're going. I'm sorry.
あれあれ、結構可愛いじゃん。よかったら俺たちと遊びに行かない？
Aren't you a cutie? Don't you want to spend time with us? I'll pass. I'm on my way to work.
そんなのサボっちゃえばよくない？
Why don't you call in sick? I just walked into a load of trouble. It might be quicker to show I'm a police officer, but if they had some animosity towards the police, it would invite even further trouble. I'm in a hurry. When I tried to push past the two insistent men, one of them grabbed my arm. You just bumped into us. You don't seem that apologetic. He raised his voice then. Ow! The man let go of my arm with a genuine yelp of pain, unlike earlier.
女の子への暴力って好きじゃないな。
I don't like people who are violent against women. Okazaki? Okazaki had suddenly appeared from behind, twisting the man's arm. He casually sent the man flying away with one hand.
こいつ!
You punk! Da-na-na-na. Okazaki dodged the punch from the side with ease and sent the second man hurtling into a wall with a kick. Ass! Oh man. He effortlessly threw the third man, who rushed at him from behind. His movements were so fluid, I thought I was watching a dance performance.
ダメだよ。女の子を困らせたら。
You shouldn't inconvenience a lady. Okazaki gently, should I wear my jacket like him? Just one arm? Hang on. We can do this. My jacket's already falling off anyways. We did it. We did it. One arm. I'm cool like him. I'm cool. Alright, Okazaki gently scolded them without showing any sign of needing to catch his breath. Wah! The men scrambled away, each trying to outpace the other.
大丈夫だった？
Are you okay? Okazaki turned to me with a look of genuine concern. Thank you so much. You saved me.
君に怪我がなくてよかった。
I'm glad you didn't get hurt. But what are you doing here? It seems I'd mischaracterized him rather than appearing and disappearing like a ghost. It was more like he was always around. Don't tell me he's like this with everyone.
これから仕事？
On the way to work? Yeah.
実は俺も新宿署に用があったんだ。
Turns out I have business there too, actually. Huh. What a coincidence. It seems that I have been overly self-conscious.
どうせだったら一緒に行こう。
Why don't we go together? Saying that, he turned to me and offered me his hand for some reason. Why the hand? He likes holding hands. He's just like Ibuki. So Ibuki, he loved holding hands. And he was a little bit of a psychopath. And I think he is too. So they're like similar. I just stared at it for a moment. Then Yanaki just grabbed my
君
hand.
は危なっかしいからね。手をつないで歩こう。
It's dangerous for you to let's walk holding hands. No, thank you. It's not any safer this way. So you don't get lost in a crowd, bro. In response to that saying that, he simply grabbed my hand even more tightly and began tugging me as we walked.
君の手、少し冷たいね。
Look at his little CP mask. Your hand's a little cold. Dang, she looks so much like the character from Lower Pretend? I think it's Lower Pretend. Okazaki. He was acting like this was nothing, but he was unwilling to let go of my hand.
もう12月だもんな。俺は寒いの平気なんだけど、吉成くんは辛いって言ってた。
It's already December. I'm fine in this weather, but Yoshinari is always whining about how he can't take the cold. I was sure that I was signaling my displeasure, but Okazaki ignored it and kept talking. He really was stubborn. Isn't this a little hard to be a bodyguard while you're holding hands?
これは警護のためじゃないよ。ただ俺がつなぎたいだけ。
This isn't for my job. I just wanted to hold your hand. I see. When he says it that assertively, I found myself stupidly unwilling to resist for some reason. This will be embarrassing if someone sees
あ
this.
んまりぼんやり歩いてたらダメだよ。人に
What's
ぶ
her
つかったら危ないし、
outfit look like?
さっきみたいな人に
Have
ま
I
た
not
絡まれ
noticed
ちゃ
what she's wearing? Is she on the cover? She's not even on the cover of the game. I don't even understand. Is she the only one not on the cover of one of these? Hang on, I have other ones. Pio Fiore doesn't have the cover, but Bustafillos do. I'm pretty sure she's on the cover for Lover Pretend. She's there. And for Paradream Paradox. So, interesting. All right. You shouldn't space out too much while you walk. It's dangerous to bump into people. Oh wait, I just realized she's wearing that handkerchief around her neck to hide her necklace. That's actually a collar that could kill her. It's dangerous to bump into people. You could get into a fight again. Huh? If he had seen me walking while I was spaced out, so he was telling me, after all, am I under surveillance? Okazaki smiled in a comforting way. Maybe my doubt had shown on my face.
別に後をつけたりしてないよ。たまたま見つけただけだから安心して。
I wasn't really following you. Don't worry. I just happened to see you. I'm sorry.
いいよ。でも、本当は許されるんだったら、四六時中後をつけて守ってあげたい
Man,
ね
he's at like a 14 already. Whew. It's okay, but if you would allow it, I'd like to follow you and protect you 24/7. What?
君ってしっかりして見えるけど、意外と隙があるから心配なんだ。
Oh no, it's puppy syndrome. I gotta protect the little animal that can't take care of itself. Oh no. You seem like a serious sort, but you're careless, and that worries me. I appreciate the thought, but I must decline your offer. Knowing Okazaki, if I accepted, he'd seriously follow me around 24 hours a day.
じゃあ、今のところはやめておくね。
And then I'll call it quits for now. I just realized his hand's like so straight.
でも、さっきみたいなことがまたあったら、本気で警護を考えちゃうかも。
But if something like this happens again, I'll really consider round-the-clock protection. Okay, I'll be careful. I'll try not to show you any openings next time.
それはそれで少し残念だな。
That's kind of a pity too. Okazaki smiled gently as always. I couldn't tell if he was joking or not. Somehow, I seemed to allow him to do whatever he wants, and let him dictate everything. We'd only met a few days ago, but it felt like every time we met, he was leading me around. That's because you're called an introvert, and he's an extrovert. And this is what extroverts do. They take you places you would never go. It's just what they do. Just because. I have a drink in the freezer. I just remembered. Let me grab it before I forget. And then it blows up my little baby freezer. Hang on. I had just realized it'd been an hour and I had that in the freezer the whole time. I just realized. What a silly person. All right. He always approaches me without hesitation. I fell to refuse, and then this would happen. I know, be careful. I recalled what Yanagi said. I know that I have to be cautious, but his palm was warm. So were some of his smiles and words. I didn't think they were coming from ill will. What's wrong? While I was mulling it over, I startled as he examined my face. I was so startled that I suddenly gripped his hand tightly. When I did, he returned the grip, smiling all the while. Suddenly, I just felt even worse. Your hand. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, goodness. We gotta make him trust us more. Do you do this with other people? I wonder if he's used to this. Do you do this to other people? I regretted saying that. That was rude of me, but Okazaki didn't seem offended. He just smiled calmly. If I did this to everyone, they'd get mad. So he only doesn't care about getting me mad. For some reason, I found myself unable to say that aloud. I only do this with people I want to get closer with. Huh? For a second, my heart skipped a beat. Then I remembered something. He also said that he wanted to be close with Yanagi and the others. So this wasn't something special that he was doing for me. Once I realized that, I was shocked. I also felt some unkind feelings bubbling up. So you do this with Yanagi and the other people at the office? I just meant to tease him, but Okazaki seemed to think about it seriously. I guess Takeru could probably use a bit of hand-holding for his sake. Oh, really? I didn't think he'd be the type to need that. Takeru's the brain of the bunch, right? That makes him the most vulnerable sometimes. That might indeed be true, but he's probably be mad if I ever asked. But if I just take his hand, he'll probably get really mad at me, so I won't do that. Yeah, a wise decision. I agree when I imagine Sasaki's face. While I walked with Okazaki, I occasionally glanced at our hands. My embarrassment slowly eroded as I normalized this behavior, and it was replaced with relief. So he really was just worried. Obviously, I had been a little scared that when those men surrounded me. As a cop, it felt kind of lame, but I wasn't sure I could skillfully exit the situation. Now, though, I felt calm. It's thanks to Okazaki. Maybe he had noticed how I was feeling and reached out to me to help, while acting like it was for his own satisfaction. Maybe I was wrong. I've wronged him. Regardless of Okazaki's true intentions, it was true that he had protected me. Still, it wouldn't be a stretch to say that I was betraying the police. Was I still somehow someone worth protecting? Maybe I have taken advantage of his kindness. Perhaps I had used his stubbornness as an excuse and ultimately failed to reject his advances because deep down, a part of me wanted to trust him. When I was with him, I could relax just a little and not think about my collar, the X-Day crimes, and my precarious situation. I'm really not cautious enough, am I? I'm fine now. We were in sight of the police station now, so I broke free from his hand. If my colleagues saw me now, I'd have no idea how they would react. A breeze whipped through my warmed hand, and the cool sensation now made me feel a tinge of loneliness.
ちょっと残念だけど、誰かに見られたら困っちゃうもんね。
It's too bad, but there would be a problem if people saw. Maybe he really was concerned for me. He was worried about appearances, so I guess he hadn't done it out of selfishness. It was hard to tell what this man was thinking, but I sensed his actions stemmed from goodwill.
ごめんね。無理やり引っ張ってきちゃって。
Sorry for dragging you all this way. No, you were just worried. Thanks for holding my
言っ
hand.
たでしょ。俺がつなぎたかっただけ。
I told you I just wanted to hold your hand. Okazaki kindly smiled, still pretending to be obstinate. I can't. I returned his words with a slight smile and started to cross the street when it was green. Then, suddenly a commotion broke out around us. Seeing Okazaki reach for his holster, I also readied myself. I looked over and saw smoke. A fire?
火事やばくないすぐ近くじゃん
Is that a fire? It's really close, isn't
ちょ
it?
っと携帯見てまた動画サイトで変なの流れてる
Check your phone. There's a weird stream on the video sites again.
なんか燃えてるこれも X デーのやつなの
Is something burning? Is this an X Day thing? Oh dear. Lee! Right. I quickly started to take out my phone, but I could hear a voice already playing on the bystander's phone. Oh man, there's 23 days left until X Day, the rebirth. That was
カウントダウン。また X デー事件が起きたのかもしれない。
a countdown. Another X Day crime might have already happened. I hurriedly searched for the video on my phone. It showed a fire burning at a familiar looking park. I'll call it in. Bro. Masunobu Mochida. Is that you? Hoshino, there's an X Day video. Yes, I'm close to the place in the video now. Fire is in the residential area near Shinjuku PD. I'm en route to the scene. I'll relay that to the investigators HQ. I'll be there soon too. Be careful. Yes, sir.
俺も行くよ。
I'm coming too. Okazaki nodded firmly and we set off because I can't even protect myself, so like, might as well. The fire... I like the sound. That was great. The fire had broken out in a park within a residential area. It had just started burning, so firefighters and police hadn't arrived yet. Instead, neighbors and bystanders were gathering around the park to watch. Police, it's dangerous. Everyone, please stay back. Okazaki and I raised our voices as we pushed our ways through the crowd to the source of the fire. What looked like a human... I'm sorry? What looked like a human figure had been left in front of the restrooms.
待って。
Wait. As soon as I tried to run over to the figure, Okazaki quickly pulled me back.
近づくと危ない。
It's dangerous to get any closer. But somebody's
火の
in
勢いが
there.
普通じゃない。匂いからして周囲にガソリンが撒かれてる。それもかなり広範囲に。
The blaze is unnaturally strong. I can smell gasoline all over this place. It's been spread over a pretty wide
密閉
area.
空間じゃないから爆発の恐れはないけど、火元の周りに紙束みたいな燃えかすが大量に散らばってるのは見えるよね。
We don't have to worry about an explosion, but it looks like bundles of paper have been scattered all around the area where the blaze started.
トイレ内にまだ何かが。それこそ爆発物が仕掛けられてる可能性もある。
There might be something else, probably exposed. Possibly. I can do this. I can read. I know what words are. Possibly explosives hidden in the
火の
restrooms.
中心にいる人物が全く動かないのは、もう息絶えてるか、一酸化中毒で意識不明のどちらか。
The
どう見
person
ても助からない。
in the middle of the fire isn't moving. They might have lost consciousness from carbon monoxide poisoning. We can't help them now. Okazaki was incredibly calm, and he coolly analyzed the situation. He was probably right too, but what if it's possible that we can still save them? I frantically look around for a fire extinguisher, but I couldn't see anything of the like. Pouring water on gasoline fire was a bad idea, but maybe I could smother the fire. As I hesitated, the fire spread to a nearby tree and grew fiercer. We have to do something. We have to help. In my confusion, I tried to approach the fire again, but Okazaki's grip only grew stronger. Let me go. There's nothing you can do right now. So is there something you can do? Okazaki, I'm sure you could save. There's nothing I can do for them either. We have other priorities right now. What other priorities? What could possibly be more important than saving their lives? Calm down. He looks wild right now. This might have been the fire's first time I'd ever heard Okazaki sound angry. I stiffened in surprise. Calm down. There are a lot of other people here right now. It's our duty to prioritize their safety. It's something you need to do now. It's something that only you can do. This man. Okay. I still want to say that person over there, but I think you die if you do that, really. All right. Prioritize the evacuation. This is what I can do now. After Okazaki's helped me regain my composure, I assessed the situation around me. I realized I wouldn't be able to put out the fire by myself. The priority now was to evacuate the local residents and prevent secondary casualties. It hurt to turn away from what might be a dying person, but I couldn't lose sight of my duty. I'll lead the evacuation. I knew you would like that. Good, you'll be fine. I'm with you. My hands were still trembling, so Okazaki held them both tightly. You can see the situation. Let's do what we can, right? Okay? Yes. We each took a part of the crowd and led them out of the park. Do not approach the fire. It's dangerous. Please evacuate. Get out of the park, everyone. Stay calm so that you don't trip. And some of the cinders in the air landed near my feet. They looked like the paper around the victim, but I noticed they were fragments of notes. The note was apparently written with a very shaky hand. I love you so much. I want to kill you. The scrap quickly burnt to ashes. Charred paper has been added to material. Ooh, if I had stalked him, like, would I have maybe gotten something? Chapter 2. X-Day Incident Report for July. X-Day Incident Report. Report of the X-Day incidents. July 1st, a man who had been obsessively stalking a woman was killed by a passerby. The assailant was arrested at the scene, but circumstantial evidence and witnesses' accounts suggest it was a justified act of self-defense. However, the assailant was arrested as a suspect for the May X-Day crime and is awaiting trial. He is currently being held in jail. After the incident, the Roman numeral 4 and an Adonis coin were found at the victim's residence. For this reason, the assailant and the women being stalked were suspected for having Adonis ties, but no evidence has been found to support this. In early August, Adonis uploaded a statement which claimed the incident as part of the countdown. A man was arrested for defending himself. Don't you find this unreasonable? He was a hero who saved a woman. This woman had been plagued by her stalker for ages, but the police did nothing. We, Adonis, could not overlook this, so we passed judgments on the victim's behalf. Countdown to X Day 4. Oh no, 6. Am I doing math? I can read Roman numerals. I'm awake. IV is 4. I'm so sorry. VI is 6. This month's countdown is 5. I just remember the numbers go backwards and I was like, 5? Wait a second. My bad. I know what Roman numerals are. This incident would be well known to the public. They would know the threat was amongst themselves. The plan proceeded to the next stage. People would focus on the threat and realize that everyday malice in this world is real. It was a threat to their own lives. It was believed that occasional tumult within our organization would pose no obstacle to the plan. The countdown to the revival would march on relentlessly. Sounds sad. December 8th. The afternoon after the park fire, I was at my desk answering non-stop phone calls. There were many Shinjuku residents who felt unsafe because the repeated incidents and the volume of the calls had increased. I'm very sorry. The matter is currently under investigation. That said, little of the information coming into SRCPO was of any use to them, and most of it was not directly related to the incidents. People reported seeing ghosts at the scene or thought the fire affected their phone reception. There's no helping it considering the atmosphere these crimes have created. This morning, firefighters had shown up promptly to extinguish the blaze. The only damage was the trees near the fire's center, and there was no injuries. The victims at the heart of the fire had died, however. From what Mochida had overheard so far, the on-scene investigation had ruled out suicide. It was most likely a homicide. On-scene investigation. Crime scene investigations are usually done by permission or warrant, while freelance investigations put the suspect on the spot and are done without permission. That makes no sense. That doesn't answer what on-scene means. That just means what crime scene investigations are. That's the difference between like regular and like free. What? Okay. When the incoming calls finally slowed down, I sighed and rubbed my eyes. I had gone around collecting statements and reassuring the neighbors, so it was afternoon by the time I returned to the station. So it was an X-Day crime after all. The gruesome scene from this morning replayed itself in my head. I had watched someone burn to death and there was nothing I could do about it. I was struck by the cruelty that could rob someone of their life so easily. There was an announcement video too. If they also find a coin, how could they do that 2 days in a row? If Okazaki hadn't been there, I would have really been entirely useless at that scene. It had all been a shock to me, and I still hadn't fully recovered my composure. There was a commotion in the building. I immediately stepped to react. Oh, I missed it. Wow, you look scary. Section Chief Morioka and Commissioner Minigishi from Investigation Section 1 were both here. Commissioner. At the Metropolitan Police Department and Regional Police Headquarters, this role manages multiple divisions. They're in command at the Investigation HQ in each jurisdiction. This police station was the headquarters for the X-Day investigation, so there were people from police headquarters posted here. However, SRCPO personnel didn't generally interact with investigators unless they were invited to the meeting. So the officer would be stirred up by the arrival of such a highly ranked officers. What in the world is going on? Is Hoshina here? I couldn't believe my ears. He came in here and asked for me by name. Has she done anything wrong? While I was panicking, Mochida quickly positioned himself behind my desk. I quickly stood up and straightened my posture, confused. Yes, sir. I'm Lee Hoshino, a Special Region Crime Prevention Office. I heard you were near the crime scene this morning. Yes, sir. We'd like to ask you some questions about that. Could you spare us a moment? Oh, I'm Masunobu Mochida, her supervisor. Would you mind if I accompanied her? Mochida came to my rescue as I was tongue-tied with anxiety. However, Morioka shook his head no after a moment consideration. We'd like to speak to her one-on-one first. Come with us. Yes, sir. My throat had dried out, and that was the only response I could manage. That's so fair. I do also need to finish this so I can drink my new one that I put in the freezer. They brought me to the X-Day investigation headquarters. Everyone else seemed to be out. It was empty. The room felt very big to me when I entered, and I grew increasingly nervous, wrinkling my hands tightly. So about this morning, why were you there? I thought they were going to ask me about the fire itself, so I was caught off guard by the unexpected line of questioning. I just happened to be on my way to work. I heard you were with an SP officer. I ran into him on my way to Okazaki. The SP officer said that he also had business at Shinjuku Station today. And by what circumstances would an SRCPO member like you be acquainted with the security police? Huh? Circumstances? I just know him. And how do you know him? I began to doubt myself under rapid-fire barrage of questions. Perhaps noticing that I had gone pale, Mini-Ishi interrupted with a troubled expression. Morika, lay off the Inquisition, at least give her an explanation for this. There was a Roman numeral 1 found painted on the wall of the park restroom earlier this morning. Analysts of the coin we recovered proves that it was another X-Day crime. The autopsy had found the victim's cause of death to be carbon monoxide poisoning. Then when I had found the body, the victim had already perished. Good to know. You're not a murderer. Based on the evidence, it's hard to imagine that she was involved directly. Thank you. I have lost my sock. So there is no need for you to have to grill her. Look, you're terrifying her. They do suspect me after all. You're not under suspicion as a criminal. I just have a bad feeling about you. With that, Morika leaned forward as if searching for something in my eyes. You know something about the X-Day crimes, don't you? Something we don't know. Feeling the cold collar against my skin, I instinctively went silent. When I did, Morika sighed deeply and quietly continued.
柳愛知を知っているな。
You know Yanagi Aiji.
あいつは俺の元部下だ。お前が柳たちと交流を持っていることは把握している。
Wow. He used to work for me. We know that you've been interacting with his team. Did he tell
いや、
you?
違う。あいつはそういうことを簡単に漏らす人間じゃない。
He's not the kind to let that information slip so easily. Morika bluntly remarked on his old coworker, but we're getting intel about them,
は入ってくる。
whether they like it or not. Does that
柳とはどうやって知り合った？
How did you come to know Yanagi? I met him on patrol. I had him show me ID just to be certain. I was curious, so I looked him up in the database and saw that he was a former officer. After talking for a bit, I learned that he was independently investigating the X-Day incidents. I'm just keeping an eye out as SRCPO so that they don't get hurt. They're civilians now. I had no idea how well they'd fall for my bald-faced lie. To begin with, someone they knew to be as cautious as Yanagi wouldn't tell someone who'd only met a few times that he was investigating next day. Morika just stared into my eyes for a while, expressionless. I didn't know what he was
事
thinking.
件の捜査はお前の任務に含まれていない。それは理解しているか？
You know that much even though these cases aren't part of your job. Morika didn't pursue the subject of Yanagi and change the topic. Yes, I thought it was necessary for the safety of the public that I be informed. Morika and Menegishi shared a look after my plainly stated
意
reply.
外と芯が強そうだな。
You're made of sterner stuff than you
ま
look.
あ、柳たちのことはいい。今は見過ごしてやる。
Fine, enough about Yanagi. We'll overlook it
では
for now.
本題に移りましょう。
On to the main topic. Oh, that wasn't even the main topic. I shifted in my chair, bracing for the big issue.
7日に起きた X デー事件は予告動画が新宿署のみに送られてきました。
The video for the crime that occurred on the 7th was only sent to the police station.
我々は場所の特定が早まることを恐れ、動画の公開範囲を絞ったのだと考えました。
We believe it was released. Its release was limited because the criminals were afraid they'd be traced too fast. I can do this. Okay. They appear to have arrived at the same conclusion as
です
Yanagi's
が今朝
team.
の事件は動画をネット上で公開するのとほぼ同時に白昼堂々の犯行です。
But the video this morning was streamed to the public at about the same time the crime was committed in broad
この
daylight.
結果、現場近くで不審な女性を見たという証言もあるのですが、まだ裏は取れていません。
Did she have a bunny hoodie on? Was she super cute? Like, did you want to be her? Because I might know who it was in another life. Witnesses' statements placed a suspicious female near the crime scene, but we haven't gotten any solid leads on that yet. 2 crimes had occurred in 2 days, but it looked like the investigation wasn't going as desired.
カウントダウンがゼロになるのを目前にして、奴らの動きが荒くなっているのは確かだな。
Now that the countdown is reaching 0, they're behaving more erratically.
アドニスは複数人で構成されたテロ組織です。これまでの事件の犯行も
Ooh.
複数人によるものと断定されています。
Adonis is a terrorist group of many people. We've concluded that the string of crimes so far have been committed by multiple
おそらくです
individuals.
が、組織の上の人間が駒を切り捨て始めたのではないかと。
The leader of the organization may be starting to sacrifice their own pawns.
ああ、
I already knew that
下
too.
っ端の人間なら捕まっても構わない。むしろ捕まえてみろと言わんばかりのやり方だ。
They don't care if we catch their minions. In fact, they're daring us
実
to
行犯
arrest
が
them.
捕まったところで、警察がアドニスの中心にたどり着けないという自信があるんだろう。
They must be confident that we couldn't hit the heart of their organization even if we were to arrest the perpetrators. Maybe the group was confident that our peons wouldn't betray the organization. Their pawns? Is that how that's spelt? pawns? I need to write that one down. Or perhaps the low-level criminals didn't know anything about Adonis to begin with. I wonder which was the case. Did anything stand out to you about the fire today? It's all in my report. They tell us it's fine if it's redundant. Understood. Gasoline had already been poured all over the scene when I arrived, and I couldn't approach the source of the fire. Bundles of paper were also scattered around the victim, and I found a burning scrap of a very strange note. I told them all of this as politely as possible. Considering the content of the note, Rika Shugawari is indeed suspect. Rika Shugawari? That was the name of the woman who had been stalked in the July incident. Why would her name come up now? Mangashi, she didn't need to know that. Anyways, working within this police station anyone working within this police station would have certainly been able to figure that out. Minagishi calmly continued. Because the victim was burned to death, it'll take some time to identify the body. How convenient. I am looking into the July case. Unofficially. We believe that both assailant and victim have some connection to the July case. Why? Because of the video statement. Speaking of which, I hadn't watched the video yet. I had ran straight to the scene of the crime and was busy filing a report. Is it not 2 L's? Is that not how you spell filing? I'm gonna Google that. Man, I don't know. Filing a report ever since I got to the station, so I hadn't had time. That's just a convenient excuse, though. The truth was, I'd been so shocked by what I saw that I didn't feel like watching the video. Pathetic for a police officer. I'm sorry to say I haven't seen the video yet. When I answer honestly, Minagishi didn't seem upset. He just nodded. Would you like to watch it now? Let's go. Let's pull it up on the monitor. Opens a laptop computer and turns it towards me. An imposition of love can become a weapon. This is especially true of deluded love. Even though a woman is menaced by that weapon, the police tell her there is no crime. Adonis will pound the gavel of judgment upon the one who drowned women in fear. This is believed to be a statement by Adonis issued for the stalker homicide. Yesterday's gun homicide is related to August. It all started with that online game. Based on this statement, it's sensible to conclude that this case is also connected to a past event. So you're saying that it is connected to the stalker incident back in July? We can't help but suspect it. The assailant in the July case was in detention. The woman who had been stalked by the victim, Rika Shugawara, was also suspected of being involved with Adonis and X-Day at the time. Is it true that Rika Shugawara was a victim of the stalking? There's no doubt about that point, yes. What if she's not related to Adonis, but is actually completely a victim? Wouldn't arresting her be causing her immeasurable mental anguish? If she's really is completely unrelated, I suppose it is. You didn't find any evidence connecting her to Adonis back then, right? as you said earlier, it is a known fact that Sugawara had been harassed by her stalker for a long time.
7月の事件当時、菅原の聴取はあまり深いところまで切り込めなかった。
For that reason, after the July homicide, we didn't dig really too deeply during our interview with her.
ストーカー被害を未然に防げなかったのは、警察の落ち度が大きいからな。
The police had absolutely failed her by allowing her to be tortured for as long as we did.
X デイ事件を解決に導けず、警察への風当たりが強い時期だったのもある。
Even the noblest person would have felt like she had been wronged by the police. She was a victim and not the strong suspect, so the police hadn't felt the need to push her too hard in their interviews. Drinking this so slow. When I have a new one that is so cold right now because I had it in the freezer. She was a victim and not a strong suspect, so the police hadn't felt the need to push her too hard in their interview. And the assailant was in jail anyways, even if she was taken in for incitement of increment of murder. It'd be a difficult case without evidence. Incitement, the crime of inciting others. Okay, I was over the incitement. To commit the crime of murder. The one who committed the murder and the one who incited it would be subject to prosecution.
だが、今回ばかりはそうはいかない。菅原を容疑者から外す理由はない。
We can't treat her that way this time. There's no reason to rule her out as a suspect. Am I gonna go with them now? That ended the conversation for now, so I was dismissed and told to return to SRCPO. I still don't really know what they wanted with me. The perpetrator this time was connected to the X-Day incidents. We were inching closer and closer to the countdown hitting 0. I didn't want to see something that awful again. I wanted to prevent all future incidents. If I was going to be successful at that, I knew that I had to learn a lot more about the past incidents. December 8th incidents had been added to materials. Let's check our materials. It's been a minute. Let's see. Materials. Holy snap. Okay. Do the video. The next day. I love you so much. I want to kill you. A man was shot to death. Wait, man was shot to death in a quiet resident district. The video announced on the coin discovered a victim's home linked to the X-Day event. The murder weapon is a gun. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Antidotus. Okay. Did I do it? Am I all caught up? Dang, lots of notes in here. Immediately after I returned to my desk, Mochida came over with a worried look. Was it okay? Did they hassle you? What exactly did you do anyways? I didn't do anything. They weren't mad at you? No, they just wanted to ask me about this morning. That's all, then good. He's such a worrier. Nah, what do you know, man? But it made me truly happy to know that there was someone who genuinely cared for me right here. I don't know if that's care. Morika and Menegishi seem to suspect people within the police force. Even I'm practically a spy since I'm wearing this collar. It did seem like they already had their doubts about me as well. But they were already people among the criminals with prior history and evidence to connect them. The thought gave me goosebumps. One of them is nearby. What if? What if the person who collared me is nearby? I think it's you, buddy. I think you're the reason I have this collar. You're the one who told me to go here. You conveniently got distracted. Just arrived when I got free. Yeah, no, you did this to me. Hey, Hoshino, what's wrong? And you were just suspicious about why they wanted to see me. You know. I don't know. I'm making this up. You seem down. If they got too pushy, just let me know. I'll go and have a word with them for you. No, I'm really fine. Moshida's worried face shook me out of my dark thoughts. Once I started doubting people, it'll never end, so I should just do what I can do for now. Mochida, I actually have a favor to ask.
なんだ何で
Anything.
も
Tell me. If you have time today, there's somewhere I'd like you to go with me. Hmm? Who's driving? Alright. Office worker Rika Shigawari, 25. Unequated? Office worker Tomogi Agata. Arrested and detained. Present at the scene of the crime. Claimed self-defense. Harmed police during the crime. Was attacked by Shimizu. Repeated instances of stalking during the crime. Attacked using a edged weapon. And then there's killed. Witness statement. A man wielding an edged weapon screamed, "Let's die together," before attacking the female victim. A bystander attempted to protect the woman and was wounded by the attacker who drew blood. The stalker was plainly confused. The name of the deceased victim was Hiroto Shimizu. So I'm gonna skip because I read this entire thing. She's been stalked. Incident. Planned to commit murder-suicide. A passerby pushed Shigawari to protect her and then stabbed him. The interviewing passerby arrested at the scene was Tomogi Ogata. Did it. Incident report. On the surface, it appears to be a simple case, and it wasn't even initially classified as an X-Day crime at the time. Even when an Adonis coin was discovered while searching Shimizu's house, the police opinion on the case hadn't changed. However, Adonis then uploaded a video statement referencing the killing in the following month. Man was arrested for defending himself. Yeah, we couldn't overlook it. Oh gosh. Yep. Due to this video, the homicide was now treated as part of a string of X-Day crimes. The assailant was arrested and he insisted upon his innocence and that he acted in self-defense, but the case's motive and larger scope were uncertain. I'll ask Sakuragawa for more details on the case from back then.
ここが菅原理香の家だ。
This is Rika Shigawara's home. Thank
しかし
you.
お前も偉いな。ストーカー被害者の精神状態を気にして様子を見に行きたいなんて。
Thanks so much. Good for you, Hoshino. You were so worried about the stalking victim that you wanted to check on her mental health. That's the job of the local office to begin with.
そうなんだが。
I'm impressed. I hadn't lied to Mochida. Shigawara hadn't been able to rely on the police to protect her from her stalker. She had a deep psychological wound. To top it off, she had been suspected as a murderer and subject to various slanders by the media, though the possibility of some of it being true hadn't been ruled out. If investigations HQ suspects her, they'll come looking for her soon enough. It could just exacerbate the damage that had already been done to her psyche. Whether or not Shigawara was related to X-Day, I was personally worried about her state of mind. Mochida, would you mind waiting here?
なあ、わかってる。何かあったらすぐに呼べよ。
I understand. Call me if anything happens. Due to her circumstances, Shigawara might not respond well to men. Mochida stayed in the hallway and I pushed the intercom in front of her door.
どなたですか?
Who is it? I'm Officer Lia Hoshino from the local office of Shinjuku Police Station. There was a
あ
silence.
なた方に話せることはすべて話しました。
I've told you everything there is to know. Please leave. An icy voice came back over the speaker. Please wait a moment. I'm not here because of the investigation. I just came to make sure you're safe. Have you noticed anything unusual lately?
安全確認 今さら
You're checking on me? After all this
私が
time?
何を訴えても被害妄想だ自意識過剰だと言って取り合ってくれなかったのはあなた方です。
After writing me off as having a persecution complex or being overly sensitive every time I complained?
私を疑っているんでしょ。それでここに来たんでしょ。
Now I'm under suspicion because of yesterday, and you're claiming you want to see if I'm alright. That's not true at all, is it? I was at a loss on how to respond to that. She appeared to still be deeply mistrustful of the police. The police had been sloppy in their handling of the stalker, but it seemed they had been equally bad in their treatment of the victim. All of us at the police are responsible for the way you feel now. I'm deeply sorry for what happened to you, but we don't want to repeat that same mistake. It's true some suspect you for yesterday's fire. Would you mind speaking to me to clear that up? Again, there was a silence. I nervously waited for Shigawara's
あなた
answer.
一人男はいない。
Here by yourself, there's no men out there. My partner's here, but he'll wait outside. A short while after I said that, the door quietly opened.
はじめまして。菅原理香と申します。
You're adorable. I'm Rika Shigawara. In contrast to her fearful tone over the intercom, I was slightly surprised to see her so calm. I had thought that I might not be able to talk to her due to her mistrust and fear of the police, so this was a bit unexpected. I'm Lee Hoshino from the SRCPO. I reintroduced myself and bowed. We apologized for still being unable to solve the case and for making you feel unsafe. On behalf of the police, I deeply apologize for the pain that you were caused to you and our failure to prevent it. There's no excuse for the way you were treated.
そういうのやめて。
Enough of that. It was an expressionless voice. I looked up.
本当に今更ね。もう私の人生はとっくに壊れてしまった。
Yeah, this is way too late. My life has already been ruined, utterly destroyed. In contrast to her words, she smiled thinly, but her eyes were not laughing at all.
私はやっと生まれ変われるの。これから新しい人生を生きられるのよ。だから邪魔しないで。
I just realized you can like see her ears under her hair. That's cool. I finally have been reborn. Actually, I should have done this. This is bigger screen. I have a TV over here. But I can finally have been reborn. I can finally live a new life, so just keep out of my way. Reborn? I didn't understand. But she was acting neither scared nor angry. And the way she spoke with a casual smile told me that she clearly didn't want my help. Looks like I won't get through to her. Asking for her trust after all this time was probably impossible. When I said nothing at a loss, Shigawara's smile disappeared and her face grew more serious.
愛する人はいる？
Do you have anyone you love? Confused by the non-sequential, I tilted my head. You mean someone I like? Yeah. She probably meant to ask if I had a love interest. I loved my parents and Kazuki. They were replaceable to me. But as for anyone else, I couldn't say that there was. No, not really. My eyes widened at her sudden laughter. She seemed to find that oddly hilarious. After laughing for a while, she sighed and gave me a look.
まだ愛を知らない。
How sad. You still don't know
私はいるわ。
love.
愛する人。最近出会って、それでやっと分かったの。
I have someone I love. We just met recently, so now I know the
誰
feeling.
かを殺したいと思うほど、人を愛するってことをね。
What it's like to love someone so badly you would kill for him. Shigawari's joyous expression bordered on madness, and it sent a chill
あ
down
の
my
人が
spine.
私を救ってくれたの。ただ泣いて逃げ惑うだけの日々を。
That person
あの
saved
人が
me.
終わらせてくれたのよ。
He put an end to those days where I just cried and hid all the
それま
time.
で私を殺して自分も死のうとした清水の気持ちなんて全然わからなかったけど。
I had no idea what drove
Yeah.
Shimizu to try and kill me and himself, but now I
あ
know.
の人と一緒に死ねたら私だって最高に幸せだもの。
Dying together with my beloved would be the greatest joy there is. Her words made me flash back to a certain image. I love you so badly, I want to kill you. That was a phrase on the burning note. Shigawari's words matched it.
今では清水に感謝すらしているの。私に本物の愛の形を
I'm grateful to Shimizu. Now he taught me the true meaning of love. I was speechless and I looked away from Shigawara, who was now smiling ecstatically. I didn't understand what she was saying, but I could tell that her experience with the stalker had twisted her mind. She had been broken by having that extreme form of love forced on her, and now she had directed that twisted affection towards someone else. What should I say to her? I couldn't come up with anything to say, so I quietly smiled as if I agreed with her.
あなたが本物の愛を知っていたら、少しは話ができたかもしれないわね。
If you knew true love, we might be able to have a real
事件のことを
conversation.
探っても無駄よ。どうせもうすぐ
Don't bother
全ては
investigating
再
this
生される。
case. Soon, everything will be reborn. For a moment, her arms looked strange and I got confused. Wait, what's that supposed to? My words were interrupted by the slamming of the door and she didn't hear them. When we returned to the police station, Mochida came to check on me with a worried look.
菅原理香に会いに行ってからずっと顔色が悪いが、どうした？
You've been
何かあ
looking
ったの
sick
か？
ever since you talked with Rika Shigawara. What happened back then? Oh, nothing in particular, really. I think I'm just a little tired. I had only told him that she didn't trust the police. And as for her beloved, I was still unsure if that was directly related to the case. I withheld that out of respect for her
少し
privacy.
休憩してきていいぞ。30分ぐらい寝てこい。
Take a break, take a nap. Yeah, thanks. I gratefully accepted Mochida's kindness and said, heck yeah, I'm gonna take a nap. After parting ways with him, I headed for the forensics department. I was going to talk to Shugo Sakuragawa. Yeah. As I walked, I thought about Shugawara. It was as if she was basically admitting to being an X-Day perpetrator, the person she loves. Tomoki Ogata, the one arrested in July, had ended up saving Shigawara. If this had been deliberate, then it meant that Ogata wasn't simply a bystander, which means, was Ogata the savior that Shigawara fell in love with? I have to look deeper into the events of July. I quickened my pace. See you in his office?
何が聞きたいわけ？私も暇じゃないんだから。
So what do you want to talk about? I'm busy, so make it quick. Despite her sarcastic tone, Sakagawara, I can't do it, rushed over to me as soon as she saw me. She really was a good person. Have you learned anything new about the arson murder this morning? Have you figured out the victim's
遺体の損傷
identity?
が激しくて、まだ判明してない。
The body was damaged really badly, so not yet. She denied my inquiry bluntly, but I kept pushing. The entire department believes that this event is connected to July based on the video statement, right? In order to connect the cases, I need as much information of the July homicide as possible. Can you fill me in? Sakuragawa looked at me exasperatedly and then leaned in while checking our surroundings.
あんた、捜査本部に目つけられてるよ。
I didn't make a video, but that works. Investigation is watching you. I know, they already called me in
マ
once.
ジで？
For
大丈夫な
real?
の？
Are you okay? I realize that I have to be more careful now. Sakagawara looked increasingly amazed, but then she suddenly grinned.
そうでなきゃ私も困るし。
Yeah, it'd be an issue for me if you weren't. Sorry to ask so suddenly, but could I see the old
渡
files?
せるのは実況見分調書、証拠品リスト、検視結果ぐらいだけどいい？
I can only give you the CSI memos, the evidence list, and autopsy results. Is that enough? Certainly. When I nodded, Sakagawara brought me I'm not going to say her name right ever. I'm so sorry. Brought me a stack of files from a shelf deep in the room.
見るならここで見て。持ち出しは禁止だから。
You'll have to read them here. They can't leave this area. Thank you. All right. I have to give this a thorough read. Hopefully I can notice if anything's off. For a while, I engrossed myself in the files.
ちょっと不自然だよね。
That case was a little unnatural. I turned around in surprise at the voice.
こんにちは。
Hello. Hi. Wait, why are you
新
here?
宿署に用があって寄ったら、ここに入ってく君が見えたから。
I had business at the police station. I saw you come in.
追いかけてきちゃった。
So I followed you and I ended up here. Ended up here? He had mentioned that he had something to do here this morning. I had heard that the SP were secretly coordinating with local jurisdictions. Maybe he was meeting with the security division. While I pondered that, Sakagawara lightly clapped me on the shoulder.
SP とも知り合いなの?
You even know the SP? What's a relationship? Huh? What's that supposed to mean? I wondered if I can reveal what I know that I know Yanagi and his team.
俺と彼女の関係か。
Our relationship, huh?
内緒にしておいた方がいい?
Lee, should we keep it a secret? What? Why is he asking me?
恥ずかしいから知られたくないみたい。だから内緒の関係ってことで。
You look like you're too embarrassed to say. That's why it's a secret, right? Hey. Hey! Okazaki! Don't say it like that.
誤解かな? 当たってるよね。
Will they? It's right, though. I'm pretty sure it isn't. I couldn't think of any way to articulately describe my relationship to him. Watching me panic, Sakuragawa grinned.
あんたも隅に置けないっていうか、結局のとこ女だったんだね。
Aren't you a smooth operator? Looks like you're a girl after all. Like I said, we're specifically not like that. This is headed in the wrong direction.
資料読まないならしまうけど。
I'll put these away if you're done with them. Oh, wait. I grabbed the files as Sakuragawa started to leave with them.
それ、7月の事件の資料だよね。
Are those the files on July? Yes. Instead of berating me, Okazaki now looked
俺
curious.
も見ていい?
Can I see them too? As an SP officer, Okazaki, like myself, wouldn't have authority to investigate the case. I looked at Sakuragawa for a response.
私いらない。
It's none of my business. She returned to her own work. I think she was enjoying this. I suppose that reaction meant that he also had her permission to see them. Oh wait, he's not wearing his
お許
half
しも出た
jacket.
みたいだし、見ようよ。
Now I just look foolish because he's wearing a full no jacket at all. He's just existing now. Looks like she's okay with it. Let me see. I don't know. I just don't know. With a tinge of uncertainty, I turned the page. Ooh. Okay, let me sit this here for 1 second. I'm going to cross my legs, which requires me to push my chair back because there's a thing in my chair, right in front of my chair. I have a little steppy stool, and it makes it impossible for me to do too much when I'm pushed in too close. All right, we're ready. Let's read case files. The crime had occurred in Kabukicho. There was a lot of food traffic at the time. Foot traffic? State of the body. Oh, I can explore. Okay. The cause of death was blood loss resulting from a knife wound to the heart.
傷は1箇所のみで、心臓を深く一突き。
Only one wound, deep in the heart. He probably died instantly. He didn't even have time to say anything. It's probably looked like an instant kill to anyone in the
それが引
area.
っかかるんだよね。
That's what bugs me.
もう少し調べてみようか。
Let's keep reading. Let's see. That, let's see. I want to see if there's anything.
現場には例のコインもローマ数字もなかったんだよね。
There wasn't the typical coin or Roman numeral at the crime scene. That's why no one thought it was connected to X Day.
後日被
But
害者の自
I
宅か
guess
ら
I can take this off
コ
and
イン
look,
と
look
ロー
more
マ
like
数字の
him,
6
sort
が
of.
発
No,
見
not
さ
at
れ
all.
た。
Later, the coin and the Roman numeral were discovered at the victim's home. Some within the police believe that Adonis took advantage of the situation and claimed responsibility for it.
例えば、本当に X デー事件とは何の関係もないと仮定した場合、
If we assume it was completely unrelated to
事
X
件が起こった
Day,
後にアドニスが急いで被害者宅を特定して警察が来る前にコインと数字を残していったことにな
that
る。
would mean Adonis had to immediately locate the victim's home after his death and plant the evidence before the police
ただ
showed
の
up.
事故を計画性のあるものだと見せかけるためにはそれしかないし。
That would be the only way to spin the accident as one as their own attacks. But that's not very realistic, is it?
アドニスは4月からずっと自分たちの意思で事件を起こしてる。
Since April, Adonis has been really deliberately staging these
わざわざ計
incidents.
画にない事件を利用する必要はないはずだから。
It would be necessary to latch onto an unplanned homicide. So that means that they would have had to have planned every part of this out from the very beginning. According to witness statements,
女性の悲鳴が聞こえて一時あたりは騒然。ナイフを持った男が女性に一緒に死のうと言いながら襲いかかっていた。
a woman screamed and then there was confusion. A man attacked her while calling out, "Let's die together." Then Ogata, a passerby, jumped in and grappled with Shimizu. We've covered that already. And it says while they were grappling, Shimizu dropped the knife. Ogata picked it up and used it
錯
against
乱
him.
状態なら凶器を取り落としても不思議はないかな。でもうまくいきすぎてる感じはあるよね。
I guess if he was on drugs, it makes sense for him to be disarmed or drop his weapon, but this feels like it went too smoothly. All accounts agree that the man attacked a woman and the person that stepped in was also attacked and used the knife to stab the initial assailant. The deceased, Shimizu, was age 29, unemployed, and was suspected of stalking the same person previously. Enrika Shigawara is age 25, an office worker in Shinjuku. Shimizu had reportedly been stalking her for a few years. There are police records of her reporting the stalking multiple times.
ストーカー規制法もできて昔よりは警察も話を聞くようになったけどやっぱり実害が出ないと動けないのもあるだろうね。
There's the anti-stalking laws, and it sounds like she did talk to the police, but they wouldn't act unless something actually happened. This could all have been prevented if they just
そういう
did.
事例はたくさんあるよ。
There are
通報
all
には
kinds of
優先
cases
程
like
度が
that.
つけられるからある程
Reports
度は仕方ないん
have
じゃないか
to
な。
be prioritized. There's no helping that. Na 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 na. Murder weapon. The weapon was a 15-centimeter knife. Shimizu owned it. He was carrying it, presumably to attack Shikogara.
指紋は被害者の清水と加害者の尾形のもののみか。菅原の指紋はなかったみたいだね。
The only fingerprints on the weapons were those of the victim, Shimizu, and the assailant, Ogata. No fingerprints for Shigawara, it looks like. Wouldn't that be
可
obvious?
能性として気になっただけ。もう少し調べてみようか。
I'm just interested in the possibilities. Let's keep reading. Alright, did I miss anything? No, 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 no. No? Anything just like right here? No? Okay. Did that. Can't go higher than this. No. Gonna look. I'm so good at my job. Oh, that's not the right button. Sorry. I need to close the instructions so I can see something here. No, there's nothing here. Rude. Oh, I wasn't even doing that. I just realized there was another way to do this. Okay. I can't end this. Am I supposed to be finding something right now? Oh, did I miss this? How did I miss this? The passerby and the assailant. Tomoki Ogata is the age of the
5月
officer.
の警察官拉致殺害事件で容疑者に上がったから。
Probably because he was a suspect in the police abduction and murder in May. He was taken in on a mistaken arrest by the deceased officer. He was suspected of acting in revenge. Mistaken arrest. An arrest where the suspect is taken into custody and later released after a thorough investigation has been conducted. The police are not legally liable for the mistake. I don't know if that's the right word.
すごい経歴の持ち主だよね。
He's got quite a history here.
2年前、駅のホームでの喧嘩を仲裁しようとして、喧嘩してた片方の男性が線路に転落し、それで嫌疑をかけられて5人逮捕された。
2 years ago, he stepped in to stop a fight on a train platform. One of the men fell into the tracks and died. That's why Ogata was
今年
arrested.
5月には、その5人逮捕した警察官が死亡。復讐のためにやったんじゃないかって疑われて。
In May, the cop that arrested him was killed, so Ogata was suspected again and thought to be acting on revenge. He had an
それ
alibi.
で今年7月、ストーカー犯罪から女性を守ろうとして、防衛のために。
And in July this year, he happened to stumble upon a stalker attacking a woman and killed him to protect her. Quite heroic of him. That connects him to 3 deaths. He's been under suspicion before, which caused him to repeatedly change jobs, and he jumped in to stop an attacker once again.
ものすごく正義感の強い人なのかな。
What if he's just really motivated by justice? But it says that he has no prior association with Shimizu or Sugawara.
いっそ面識あった方が自然だったのに。だって見ず知らずの人のためにここまでのことなかなかできないよ。
This would make a lot more sense if he did. It isn't easy to go this far for someone you've never seen or met before. July's suspects have been added to your materials. Did I do it? Am I done? Persons of interest, murder weapon. Can I do this again? Should stop here and examine some other angles. Dude, I don't... Crime scene.
これ見て。周囲の証言でちょっと変わったのがある。
I'm so good at this. Okay, look at this. One of the statements is a little different. Passerby Ogata twisted Shimizu's wrist. What if this is how he got Shimizu to drop the
全
knife?
部が信憑性のあるものとは限らないけどね。
Though these accounts are not necessarily reliable. Another
尾
one
形
here.
が女性をかばうように割って入った時、何か喋ってたって書かれてる。
It says that Ogata said something when he stepped in to protect the woman. There's no record of what he said, though. We won't get anything else this way. Am I free yet? Let's see. State of the body. There's an addendum to the autopsy says also turned up some drugs in the victim's system.
襲われた女性、菅原理香の証言だと、一緒に死のうって襲われたみたいだから。
According to Shigawara's testimony, the victim said, "Let's die together" before attacking, so he probably wasn't in sound mental state. When he attacked Ogata, a passerby jumped into the fray. Bystanders witnessed the
何
melee.
か言ったのかな。
I wonder if he said anything. Are you suggesting that Ogata said something to further provoke
もともと
Shimizu?
正常な状態じゃなかったとはいえ、尾形が間に入ってさらに暴れたみたいだし。
He wasn't in sound mind to begin with, so Ogata getting involved just provoked him further.
邪魔されたと思い込んだなら当たり前の反応かもしれないけど。
Well, it would have been an understandable reaction if he thought Ogata was getting in the way. Maybe Ogata being there made things worse when Shimizu was already under the influence and that pushed him over the
だ
edge.
とするとやっぱり不
I
自然
don't think that makes sense. That's got to be the nicest way someone's ever said, no, you don't understand. Anything else on the ground?
地
Did you
面が
notice
気にな
something
るの
about the terrain? I feel like we might be overlooking something. There weren't any lost belongings at the
清水
scene.
がつけてた腕時計と犯行に使われたナイフくらいかな。
All they found were Shimizu's wristwatch and the knife he used. Wait, there were garbage-looking things in the photo.
それはただのゴミだね。
It's just trash.
これ
Ugh.
は現場保存のための写真であって、当時は鑑識が隅まで調べたと思うよ。
I'm pretty sure that this photo was taken for evidence preservation and the forensics scoured every nook and cranny. Evidence preservation, to preserve the scene of the crime by cooperating with forensics so that the evidence is not tampered with after a crime is committed. You're right. Sorry, I was just spinning my wheels.
焦らない、焦らない。大事なのは間違い探しじゃなくて、当時の情報を整理することだよ。
No need to rush. What's important isn't that we find mistakes, but we take stock on all the information that is there. Okay. Okay, just in case. Some other angles. Okay. Okay. Alright, some other angles. Just making sure. If she says it, then I won't do it again. Okay. Murder weapon. Blood on the knife belongs to 2 people. So Ogata was injured too.
暴れる清水を抑えようとしてたわけだからね。腕に防御痕あり。
Because he tried to stop Shimizu from going wild. Defensive wound on his arm. Only one, huh? Wouldn't there normally be more than that?
こういう状況だと一つは少ないかな。清水はめちゃくちゃにナイフを振り回してたみたいだし。
One is too few in a scenario like this. It sounds like Shimizu was wildly swinging the weapon. I wonder how Ogata managed to disarm him in his enraged
それ
state.
は聞き込み情報に書いてあるよ。
That's written in the report. Ah.
それから付着してた血液が2種類ってことは、菅原はナイフで傷つけられなかったんだね。
2 sources of blood on the knife means that Sugawara wasn't injured by the attack. She did well to avoid it. That means Ogata completely defended her when she was just inches from getting hurt. We did it. There was no way for me not to get information. When we finished looking through the files, Okazaki muttered something.
やっぱり変だね。
This is strange. Yeah. As we'd looked through the files, several problems had arisen. If this really was an X-Day killing, then there had to be a clear reason to kill Shimizu. Assuming that was true, then the scenario wasn't an accident and was full of holes. Sugawara was completely unscathed by the attack. The assailant, Ogata, was a passerby. Ogata disarmed Shimizu, and Shimizu was on drugs. There was a nagging feeling that the entire incident had been a setup. Okazaki, the part you think is strange is... Okay. That Ogata stabbed him in the heart. That Ogata killed Shimizu with a single thrust to the heart.
そう、すごい。君って勘がいいんだね。
Thank you. I'm an excellent detective. That's why I saved before I made that option. Yeah, I'm impressed. You have a good instinct. Eh? I thought it was something that was easy to notice if you read the files
そうか
closely.
な。これ、いろいろと惑わされる情報が多いよ。その中でもこれって選べるのはすごいと思う。
Maybe, but there's a lot of confusing information. I'm impressed that you picked that up. I'm happy to be complimented, but does he really think I'm that thoughtless? Everybody does. Everybody thinks you're pretty thoughtless. I've seen you in a room with 3 guys and 2 of them have been insulting you back to back while the other one just ignores the insults. It's not good. I had mixed feelings about it.
ごめん、そういうつもりじゃなかったんだけど。
It's too late. Sorry, that's not what I meant to imply. It's fine. Okazaki's expression clouded as if he had read something from my
これに気
face.
づけたのは、俺が SP だからってのも大きいと思うんだ。
This stood out to me personally because I'm in the SP. I was just surprised you had the same perspective. What do you mean by an SP perspective?
じゃあ、まずは加害者の尾形が主張してる正当防衛についてちょっとまとめてみよう。
Well, why don't we go over how the assailant Ogata claims that his act was in defense of
正当防
Shigawara?
衛っていうのは、脅迫している状態で防衛したときに、相手を誤って害してしまったことを指すよね。
Justified self-defense indicates unintended harm to an assailant as a result of defense actions during an emergency. Yes, the question is whether it was justified or unjustified is key to deciding whether this was murder. Okazaki nodded and
この
continued.
事件がストーカー被害の女性、菅原による殺人なら理解できることが多いんだ。
A lot of facts would make more sense if this incident was a murder orchestrated by Shigawara.
日頃の恨みが溜まっていただろうし、それじゃなくても恐怖の対象に襲われたら、必死に自衛しようとするのが当たり前だしね。
She might have had a lot of pent-up hostility, but even if she didn't, it's normal to desperately protect yourself if you fear for your
予
life.
期してない襲撃に対する防衛じゃなくて、予期していたことに対する抵抗で過剰になるのは納得できる。
I could accept this if she wasn't responding to an unexpected attack, but was instead reacting to an anticipated outcome that went too far. She wasn't attacked by someone she didn't know, but rather someone she had prior experience with, someone who she had made death threats against her. She knew the danger she was in, so she might have been mentally ready to kill her attacker. I can understand how that feels.
でも、ストーカー男の清水を殺したのは、通りすがりの一般人だったでしょ。
But the person that killed the stalker was just a random passerby, right?
逆上する清水からナイフを奪った上に、心臓を一突きしてて、目立った外傷はなし。
Yet he managed to take the frenzied attacker's knife, stab his heart, and not get badly hurt. But Ogata had a defensive wound on his arm from the knife, right? Defensive wound, scars or marks that are caused when a victim is defending themselves from attacks. One example would be scratches on the arm suffering while you're trying to cover and protect their face. It seems like a self-defense claim focuses on that point.
でもその傷、俺から見ると、わざと切られたように見えるんだ。
If you ask me, it looks like he cut himself on purpose. On
だっ
purpose?
て、腕に浅い傷が一つだけだよ。状況からして、ずいぶん運がいいなって思
He
う
only
な。
has one wound. Don't you think that's a really fortunate outcome in this situation? Shimizu was high and wildly flailing the knife around. On top of that, Ogata was also shielding Shigawara. But he got away with only a minor flesh wound. Perhaps Ogata is a prized fighter and used to wielding edged weapons?
そう。心臓を一つ切って簡単に言うけど、実際は結構難しいものなんだよ。
Yeah, it sounds simple to say he stabbed Shimizu in the heart, but that's really tough to do. I learned that at the police academy too. It was hard to target the heart, slightly left or center mass, and also protected by the rib
ただ
cage.
の通行人にしては、あまりにもやり方がスマートで、ためらいがなさすぎるよね。
I wouldn't expect a random passerby to try for such a high, difficult strike.
突発的な戦闘に慣れてる人間が、たまたま通りすがったっていう可能性もなくはないけど。
I guess there's always a chance to say that a skilled martial artist is in the area or that the guy just got one super lucky attack in. Ogata's just a normal office worker and it doesn't seem like he's trained in martial arts. In that case, it's actually suspicious that Ogata is totally unacquainted with Shimizu or Shigawara.
相手に明確な殺意を抱いてないなら、反撃にしても躊躇するのが普通だと思う。
Yeah, if Shimizu wasn't a direct threat to him, I'd expect more hesitation from Ogata's
相
action.
当な自信がない限り、自分の身も危険になるわけだしね。
When you're not assertive and confident in your moves, that leaves you open to combat. Yeah. Hearing that qualified SP officer's opinion, I emphatically agreed. Looking at the entire scenario, there were just too many things that didn't add up. I see it now. Ogata's history is too suspicious. He was mistakenly arrested 2 years ago. He was a police murder suspect in May, and then he had just happened to kill a man in defense of a woman being attacked on the
そうだ
street.
ね。事故じゃなくて計画的な犯行って意味で視点を変えると、尾形の存在が浮いてるんだ。
If you take a big picture view of all this, Ogata's name comes up far too frequently. Yeah.
会いに行ってみる？
Wanna go see him?
尾形智樹は拘置所にいるんだよね。面会はできるんじゃないかな。
Tomoki Ogata is in detention. You can see him in person if you like. Ah. It had been right under my nose. If I were to speak to Ogata in person, I'd be able to clear up many of my suspicions. But there was something nagging at me.
その紙片の内容から考えると、やはり菅原理香が怪しいですね。
Considering the contents of that note, Rika Shigawara is indeed a suspect. The investigator suspects Shigawara. If the burn victim this morning turns out to be her associate, it would only be a matter of time before she was brought in for questioning. I want to talk to her before that. If she had a hand in this because she felt trapped by her stalker, I had to put a stop to it. If she had nothing to do with it, then I need to rule out my suspicions. Either way, I was worried.
俺は尾形に会ってみたいな。
I want to see Ogata. You want to go too?
ちょっと興味が出てきちゃったから。
Yeah, it caught my interest. Okazaki, you wouldn't also happen to be investigating X Day, would you?
それはないよ。他の事件のことは全く知らないし。
That's not it. I don't know anything about any of the other incidents.
ただ7月の事件だけは前からちょっと気になってたんだよね。
It's just this for a while now. I've been curious about the July incident. Speaking of which...
あとは過剰防衛かどうかだけど、守るためにやったことなのに罪に問われるのは少しかわいそうだな。
My goodness. They're deciding if it's excessive self-defense. I feel a little bad for him being arrested when he acted in order to protect
それ
himself.
に彼がストーカーに襲われてた女
He
性を守っ
protected
た
a
のも事実で
stalker,
し
a
ょ。
woman from a stalker,
守る
didn't
ため
he?
に必要な犠牲もあるよ。
Sometimes sacrifices have to be made. He had said something similar before. Maybe as an SP, he is interested in whether it really was done to protect
君はどう
someone.
する？一緒に行く？
Are you going to? Interesting. Sure, let's go see Ogata. Wanna go together? My suspicion of Ogata had only intensified after I viewed the information with Okazaki. What kind of person was he? Was he connected to Adonis? If I was going to uncover the truth of X Day, I had to talk to him first. After that, I'll go to Shigawara. I wonder if she's gonna be dead when we go.
少しでも新情報が出てくるといいね。
No, you see, I knew he'd like it if I wanted to go with him. Let's go then. Any new information would be nice. Okazaki plainly smiled in that manner of his that never let on what he was thinking. Oh, that's how you know it's love. Ooh. I lied and told Mochida I had a personal affair that I couldn't miss and left work early. I hate to do this when there are so many calls. I insisted that he call me immediately if there was an emergency call.
ね、連絡先教えてくれる？
Do you mind giving me your number? Sitting next to me, the first thing that Okazaki said once the taxi started moving instantly set my heart on edge. No, it's not that. But now that I thought about it, it had been a few days since we met and we hadn't exchanged contact information yet. Events had turned out the way they had, but it was still a problem if I got too close to him.
変なことに使ったりしないよ。もし危険があったり助けが必要な時は
I won't
俺を
use it
呼ん
for
でほしい
anything
んだ。
weird. I just hope you'll call if there's oh my god, I can speak real words. Let's start this over. All right. I won't use it for anything weird. I just hope you'll call for help if you're ever in any danger. Sorry, my dyslexia is a bit wild today. Oof. Keep getting all the words backwards. All right, let's try that again. I still so... I just love that she says all the time. Like, what? I still so panicked that I just blurt out whatever gibberish came to mind when he continued. Are you saying that you'll protect me?
君は職務外って分かってて X デー事件を捜査してるんだよね。
You're investigating X Day even though it doesn't fall under your
理
duties.
由は深く聞かないけど、警察官としてみんなの安全を守るために頑張ろうとしてるんだろうなってわかる。
I won't pry into your reasons, but it seems like you're just trying your best to protect everyone you can as a police officer.
でもそれってすごく危ないと思うんだ。柳さんたちがいるとは言っても、警察内部に協力者はいないだろうし。
You're going to be in danger. Even though you have Yanagi's team for support, you don't have any partners within the
俺
police.
はね、捜査とかは向いてないけど、いざという時に守ることはできるから。
Detective work isn't my forte, but I can protect you if things ever go south. Okazaki? His supposed motive and gentle tone warmed my heart.
君を守らせて。危ない目にあったら、俺を頼って。
So let me protect you. If anything happens, just count on me, okay? He grins, and I also smiled and nodded in response. Thank you. I'm happy to hear it. He had his own mission, but I was glad that Okazaki was worried about me. I was glad that a fellow police officer had affirmed what I was trying to do. I thought I had to pursue this on my own, but I've always been uneasy about it. I was just a burden to Yanagi's team. Even while I struggled to contribute, I was painfully aware of my own uselessness. But
今君がしなくちゃいけないことがある。
there's something you need to do. It's something only you can do. While I was confused in front of the fire this morning, he had told me that. I realized that I had only realized my purpose in that moment because Okazaki had been there for me. He's helped me so much in such a short time. While I had people I was cooperating with, I hadn't met anyone I considered an ally. But now that Okazaki was talking this way, I really wanted to have him as an ally.
はい。じゃあメアドと番号交換ね。
Let's exchange numbers and emails then. Okay, I added Kai K? Okazaki? I've been calling him Kai this whole time. Is it Kai? To my phone list of contacts. How reassuring. We hadn't known each other long, and we still didn't know much about each other, but just today alone, he had already helped so many times. Moreover, he said I could keep relying on him. It was heartening in a way I wouldn't describe. Oh, right. Don't you have to protect Yanagi's team today?
今は吉成君に任せてあるから平気。
That's okay. Yoshinari will cover with
そ
me.
もそも彼らは一般の人たちと違って、四六時中守らなきゃいけないほど弱くないから。
They aren't your average civilians. Honestly, they don't need 24/7 protection. That's true. Oops. The fact that he understood this seemed to be an implicate acknowledgement that his protection assignment was just for pretenses. So why suspect Yanagi's team after all? If that was true, then it would be natural that he suspected me by association. Our exchange of numbers and his offer of protection could just be part of his surveillance. Which is it? The way this weighs heavily on me. Okazaki's smile and his words, his voice that had encouraged me this morning, I don't want to doubt him. I didn't want to think that it was all lies, even if I was under suspicion. I didn't want to just deny everything he'd done for me. Just as my spirits began to deflate, my phone vibrated in my hand. Because it had jarred me out of the taxing train of thoughts, I yelped in surprise. The sender of the message was none other than Okazaki, who was literally right next to me. I want to see you laugh. Stay strong. I looked up with a blank expression on my face. Okazaki was grinning. What the heck? I can send text messages. Actually, do I get to see status? He trusts me 3 bricks high out of 4, I think. I don't even know. What? Okay. The clear ideal and informed justice all leads to resuscitation. Thanks. I must have made him worry. Maybe him texting as opposed to saying it directly was his way of showing that he cared. The thought made me feel warm inside, so I typed out a heartfelt reply. It's not that heartfelt. He replied immediately. You're welcome. I couldn't stifle a giggle. It seemed unlike Okazaki to use an emoji in a message. Afterwards, we continued texting while we were right beside each other. I'm hungry. What I should have for dinner? Are you eating at home? My brother likes hamburger. Hamburg. I prepared the base yesterday and I'm sitting in the refrigerator. Sounds good. I'll get hamburg too. Will you cook it yourself? I can't make that. I'll find a place. It was an odd feeling texting while we were right next to each other. I must say, it was a lot of fun. The frivolous moments were enough to make me forget about all the day's stress. Would you cook it for me one day? When I looked up, Okazaki was waiting for me with an expected expression. Maybe if there's time. Yay! Looking forward to it. I didn't say I would, though. While exchanging carefree messages, our eyes met, and we smiled. This is so relaxing. I felt better when I was with Okazaki. I also realized that I could smile naturally. The moments lazily passed, and I embraced their comfort. Careful, girl. He's trained. And then it's dead silent. Finally, the approval to perform an interview came down. Ogata was pale. Before we could introduce ourselves, he leaned in and started speaking.
私は無実だ。
I'm innocent.
あれは正当防衛だったんです。
It was
目撃
self-defense.
者だってそう証言してくれているのに、どうしてこんなに裁判が長引くんですか？
Oof. There are witnesses who can back me up. So why is it taking so long for this to go to trial?
あなたたちだって理解しているはずです。これが正当防衛と認められなければ、警察は再び大きな過ちを犯すことになる。
Why does this guy look like he has no eyes? Even you people should understand, if you don't recognize the legitimacy of my case, the police are going to make a big mistake again. He must have been referring to his mistaken arrest in the past. In May, Ogata was marked as a suspect because the police had thought that he was acting out of revenge for his prior mistaken arrest. Then he was at the center of an incident in July, and now he was here in jail.
落ち着いてください。今日はあなたに質問があってきたんです。
Calm down. We came here to ask you some questions. Okazaki spoke to Ogata in a calm
正当
tone.
防衛とのことですが、当時的確に心臓を一突きしていますね。
You say it
そう
was
いった訓練を
self-defense.
受けたことがあるん
You
ですか？
stabbed the victim directly in the heart. Were you trained to do that?
何わけのわからないことを。
I don't know what you're talking
あれは
about.
たまたまです。奴が振り回したナイフを奪った時に、偶然心臓に刺さってしまったんです。
That was just by accident. It was completely random that I got him in the heart after I took the knife from him. Ogata boldly spat out a retort while glaring at Okazaki. But it was easy to pick up on the quivering in his voice. A coincidence, you say? It's possible.
偶然あの場に居合わせて、偶然清水が取り落としたナイフを奪い、偶然相手の心臓を突き刺したんですね。
So you just happened to be passing by, just happened to pick up Shimizu's knife, and just happened to stab him in the heart with one
何
shot.
が言いたい？
What are you getting at? Ogata was clearly irritated by Okazaki's unflinching
あ
calm.
なた方も私が計画的にあの男を殺したと言いたいの
Are you trying to say I killed that man on
では
purpose?
私がストーカー男を挑発して逆上させ、正当防衛に見せかけて殺そうという計画のもと、犯行を起こしたと仮定し、
That means you must be working from the assumption that I provoked the stalker into attacking so that I could kill him in
私と
self-defense.
清水の関係性は、動機は、
So then what's my relationship with Shimizu? My motive?
X デー事件に関与しているという確たる根拠はどこにある？
Where's your proof that I'm connected to these X-Day murders? Oh, oops, sorry. He's got his jacket back on. I'm so sorry. Just the one arm. Just the one arm. Seeing that we didn't have any answers, Ogata smiled triumphantly.
何もない。なのに警察は、私を女性を救った英雄どころか罪人扱いだ。
See, you've got nothing, yet you cops are treating me like criminals for being that woman's
今月
hero.
の事件もそうだったな。私を5人逮捕した警察官が殺されたからと、当然のように私を容疑者扱いした。
It's the same back in May. They just assumed that I must have killed those cops out of revenge for
ご
arresting me
存知の
before.
通り、私には鉄壁のアリバイがある。その時
You
期
know
は
I've got a
海
rock
外旅行に行ってい
solid
たから
alibi.
な。
I was traveling overseas at the time.
そうですね。あなたに犯行は不可能です。
Just give me this weird vibe. I used to watch this show on HBO called Crashbox, and it was a bunch of little segments, but there was one segment that is like someone's lying, and whoever the liar is the bad guy. So you had to know like facts. So I'm just all like, where'd you travel? Like I traveled to like Australia. Did you know Sydney's the capital? And if that's not true, they're the liar. I just feel like that's that moment right here. Tell me where you went. What did you do? Show me pictures on your phone. That's right, you couldn't possibly have committed the crime.
開き直るか。それでこそ薄汚い警察らしい。
Changing your tune, that's how you dirty cops
お
should
前
be.
たち警察のずさんな捜査で何人の被害者が出たと思っているんだ。
How many people do you think have gotten hurt by your sloppy
被害者の
investigations?
人権を踏み潰し、自白を強要し、検挙率を上げることだけを考えている警察が真実にたどり着けるわけがない。
The police will never find the truth, not while you only think of meeting your quotas by trampling on victims and coerced confession.
私が勾留中もずっと X デー事件は起こり続けているじゃないか。せめてそっちを解決したらどうなんだ。
I bet those X-Day crimes have been still going on while I've been locked up in here. Why don't you try solving those? I had no retort for that. You've had no retort this entire time. You haven't spoken yet. The truth was that the X-Day crimes were ongoing and the body counts continue to pile up. Even while I'm here now, somebody could be. When I gripped my knees in frustration, Okazaki put his hand on mine. When I looked up, Okazaki was staring straight at Ogata. It felt like the warmth of Okazaki's hand was calming me down.
私を疑うのは当然だが。
Makes sense that you suspect me. Suddenly, Ogata leaned back in his chair, adopting a confident smile.
私はアドニスに感謝している。なぜなら、汚染された警察の実態を明るみにしてくれたからだ。
I'm grateful to Adonis. After all, they've shown the world just how corrupt you police are.
アドニスの考えに賛同する。アドニスを正義と捉えている。
I agree with the way they think. They're taking justice into their own hands. His smile disappeared and he folds his hands.
何でもない日常を生きていた。
I was living an utterly dull
家族
life.
がいて、仕事があって、帰る場所がある。だがある日、
Sorry. I had a family, a job, a place to go home to. It was a normal, happy life, but one day my normal was completely obliterated. A deep, stern, hollow voice emanted from Ogata's
2
lips.
年前のあの時も、いつもと変わりない日のはずだった。
2 years ago, it should have been a day like any other.
私は通勤中、良かれと思って揉め事の仲裁に入っただけだ。
On the way to work, I stepped in to break up a fight with nothing but good intentions.
何もしていない。私はただ日常を生きていただけだ。
I did. Oh, this is very Jigsaw, right?
Mm.
Like Jigsaw took people in that also felt like they had been wronged by people that had similar mind aspects as him. So to say that this person was wrongfully accused at first, and then from that injustice put upon him, he has decided to, join a team that's trying to be like, look, these people are wrong. In a worse way. Not in a good way. Not in an okay way. I didn't do anything. I was just leading a normal life. Ogata retained some of his composure and looked into our
今
eyes.
年の5月もそうだ。何もしていないのに、当然のように犯人扱いされた。
It was like this again in May this year. I did nothing wrong, but once again, they treated me like a
7
criminal.
月も女性を助けようとしただけなのに、防衛を攻撃だと決めつけられた。
All I did was try to help a woman, but my actions of defense have gotten twisted into an
お
assault.
前たちは決して学習しない。何度繰り返しても自分たちが黒と決めたものを黒に塗り替える。
You'll never learn, no matter how often it happens. You paint people guilty because because you've predetermined their guilt. Ogata's words cut straight to my heart. Truthfully, I couldn't deny that there were problems in the police
想
force.
像できるか。一瞬で日常のすべてを奪われる
Could you
苦し
imagine
み
it? The pain of losing your entire world in a
信
moment?
頼も名誉、愛も希望もすべてだ。
Oh wait, you can't see this because it's behind where I am on the screen, but his shirt says Break Ace in the corner. And it has like a little fox. I wonder if that has anything to do with like how I can't think of his name right now, has like the little logo on his. Related. Trust, honor, love, hope, everything, everyone, everywhere looks at me like I'm some kind of dirty criminal. My wife and child left me after I've been branded a criminal. The company I worked for ages treated me like a tumor. I've been exorcised from all of society. Every sign that I existed is gone. I couldn't say anything. I was touched by Ogata's tragedy, and I didn't think it could be all lies. Despite his constant brushes with the X-Day crimes, the first mistaken arrest must have. I was sure that he just wanted to live a peaceful life at some
他
point.
にも大勢いるはずだ。警察に人生を壊され、
There's so many more like me, people who've had their lives ruined by the police, whose hatred burns, and whose view Adonis as just.
私は決して有罪にはならない。私の行動が正義だったと。
I've done nothing wrong. The day will come when my actions are finally recognized as just. With that, Ogata shut his mouth. We wouldn't get any more out of him. Okazaki also made to leave the room, but then
あなたの気持ちを理解してあげることはできない。
I can't understand the way you feel at all. He mumbled.
最後に一つ聞かせてくれる？
But can I ask you one last question? He looked at Ogata with lonely
揉め事を
eyes.
仲裁するためだったのに、誤認逮捕で辛い経験をした。
You went through quite an ordeal just because you were trying to stop a fight.
あなたはまた同じことをした。危険が迫った女性を助けるためとはいえ、
And then you did the exact
揉め
same
事
thing
に割
again.
って入ったのはどうして？
Woman in danger aside, why did you choose to step into another altercation? Ogata's answered Okazaki's question with wordless silence.
正義のためだ。
For justice. Burn. Then he uttered the short phrase in an expressionless voice. Ogata had nothing to say after that. Should I have gone to her house? We left the detention center on the way back. Okazaki mumbled.
新しい情報は引き出せなかったね。
Couldn't get anything new out of him. I didn't even have a chance. Yeah, but it's a chance to get our bearings. Ogata had approved of Adonis because he believed the police had committed wrongs. Then surely Shigawara also bore the same animosity for the police. She was likely to sympathize with Adonis too. So it really wasn't really a coincidence that Ogata stepped in that time. Somehow he made it happen deliberately.
あまりにも偶然が多すぎる。
There are too many
計画
coincidences.
性があったものとして考えるべきだよ。
We should assume that this was planned all along. That means in this incident, I'm gonna go with this one? If it was planned killing, then neither of them could be overlooked. What if Shigawara asked Ogata to commit the
俺
murder?
もその可能性を考えてた。彼女なしじゃ、この計画は成立しないよね。
That's what I've been thinking too. The plan doesn't work without her involvement. To prove Shimizu, Shigawara just had to lead him to the scene of the crime. To revoke, sorry. I don't know what I said. I actually don't. I don't know what I used. Ogata didn't know him, so he couldn't provoke him. Plenty of witnesses saw Shimizu chasing Shigawara that day. Ogata was implicated in previous incidents, so the risk of him killing someone would be too
いくら
high.
正当防衛を主張できても、状況次第では厳罰が与えられるし。
No matter how much he insists it was self-defense, there would be harsh consequences for
殺
him.
人どころか、揉め事の仲裁すら本来だったら避けて通りたいはずだよ。
Normally, someone in that situation would want to avoid fighting, never mind killing someone. Which means... Now, she is in love with somebody. Like, she has said it very, very plainly. It was a one-hit kill, so... Like, normally someone in that situation wouldn't want to avoid fighting, never mind killing someone, which means... I don't think he went too far. I know he killed a person. I don't think he went too far in his mind. Ogata and Shigawara were lovers. Maybe they pretended to not know each other, but Ogata and Shigawara were actually secret lovers? I think that's a
もし隠し
stretch.
てたとしても、警察が接点すら見つけられないっていう
Baron,
の
we're
は
gonna
お
load
かし
up.
いよね。
Sorry. I know. I can't do it. I can't have him say those words at me. Ogata went that far. Ogata went that far. Oh, I thought I said too far. What if in the heat of the moment Ogata just decided to go that far?
見
What do
返
you
り
mean?
っていう
One of the officers killed in May mistakenly arrested Ogata in the past. It completely ruined his life. According to his own words, if it was reasonable for someone in his shoes to consider revenge, right? So shouldn't we consider Ogata the true culprit in May?
待って、さすがにそれは無理だよ。
He had an alibi, remember? Yes, that's why. Strangers on a train. Is that it? Is that what we're doing? It was a substitute murder. Could it possibly be a
交
substitute
換
murder?
殺人。
A substitute murder? Okazaki was surprised, but he nodded. His alibi of traveling overseas is ironclad, but looking at it another way, it was so watertight that it looks
5
prepared.
月の事件を尾形の代わりに誰かが実行して、7月の事件を誰かの代わりに尾形が実行した。
In May, someone acted on Ogata's behalf, and then Ogata repaid the debt by acting in July. Yeah,
それならいろんな違和感も説明がつく。
that explanation ties up all the loose ends. In contrast with the vindicated look on Okazaki's face, my own thoughts were hazy. If they were substitute murders, the motive for the July murder would be revenge for Shigawara. And if Ogata and Shigawara were somehow connected, then Shigawara could have committed a crime on someone else's behalf.
もし X デー事件全体が交換殺人だとしたら、他の月はどうなるんだろう。
If all the X-Day crimes are substitute murders, then I wonder about the other months. There were crimes carried out by Adonis. They meant there could have been a different agent committing the murders each month. Every suspect in the X-Day crimes thus far had unnaturally perfect alibis. It was likely that each crime had been committed by a proxy who wouldn't have any direct motive, but the scale is just too massive. Even if we chased down the lead for one crime, it would be very difficult to nail down proof. This is just, I'm getting a headache. My brain was fried from information overload. Is he gonna kiss you? No. A hand landed gently on my head, followed by a sigh.
さすがに、これ以上は捜査本部に任せないと。俺たちだけで謎を解くには規模が大きいよ。
We should leave the rest of the investigations. The rest to investigations. This is too much for the two of us to unravel. As he patted me on the head, my anxiety slowly
君の
faded.
本来の役割は何だっけ？
What's your duty? To protect the safety of Shinjuku's residents?
そうだったよね。ちゃんと覚えてて。
So you remember.
いい子。
Good, good. With a satisfied smile, Okazaki removes his hand from my head. The warmth vanishes too, leaving me feeling slightly alone. Thanks, Okazaki.
俺は何もしてないよ。
I didn't do anything though. He always found a way to bring me back to reality, just like he did when I had panicked at the scene of the fire. He considered the things that were important to me as if they were important to him too. All he does is help me. I felt guilty about it, but it also filled me with renewed resolve. Yes, my true duty as a police officer was to ensure the safety of the public and to listen to what was in their hearts. I didn't intend to ignore the caller, the X-Day investigation, and the X-Day investigation, but this was a goal that I couldn't push to the background. Shigawara. If the X-Day crimes were planned substitute murders, then she had to be involved. But this all had spawned from police arrogance. I couldn't ignore that inconvenienced truth. The police should have protected her from Shimizu. If they had, she never would have fallen this far. I'm gonna see Riku Shigawara once more.
どうして？
Why? Okazaki's reaction made it clear that he didn't agree with this course of action. The chance that she's involved with this crime is rather high. I think I can persuade her before the detectives catch up to her. We were running out of time. If she confessed, her sentence would be lighter. There was still a chance. If there was no evidence she'd acted on her own, she could have been threatened by Adonis. When I brought it up to Okazaki, he thought silently for a moment.
それは警察官としてやっちゃいけないことだよね。
As a police officer, that's really not something you should be doing. Huh? When I looked up, Okazaki wasn't smiling. He was looking at me coolly.
捜査権限のない人間が容疑者に接触して、事前に捜査内容を漏洩することになる。証拠隠滅や逃走の幇助って形になるよ。
You'd be contacting a likely criminal and clouding up an investigation of a case you're not on. This is basically aiding and abetting.
こっそり事件のことを調べる。じゃ済まない。バレれば良くてクビ。悪くて。
This won't end with your secret investigation. If this blows over, you get fired at best.
今度は君が罪に問われることになる。
At worst, you get locked up alongside her. But if I can just convince her to confess and turn herself
君
in.
は菅原理香が事件に関与したそもそもの原因は警察にあるって思ってるんだよね。
You think that Rika Shigawara got involved in the first place because of the police, right? Yes.
気持ちはわかるよ。警察の対処が甘かった事実が心苦
I
しい
know
よ。
how you feel.
ね。
It hurts to know the police messed this up.
でも、じゃあ警察が悪かったですって謝ればどうにかなる問題じゃないでしょ。
But the problem isn't what happens if you just apologize on behalf of the police.
情状酌量の余地があったとしても、それを判断するのは俺たち警察じゃない。
Even if there were extenuating circumstances, we cops don't hand out judgments. I know that, but
警察にも不祥事はたくさんあるよ。誤認逮捕に冤罪、捜査ミスに収賄。もっと小さな問題なら数えきれないほど。
The police are full of scandals, wrongful arrest, false charges, bribery. The smaller they get, the more you
も
find.
ちろん減らす努力はすべきだけど、その全てに心を砕いてたら、警察官としては生きていけない。
Of course, we should do what we can to reduce them, but if you get fixated on them, you can't function as a police officer.
警察は守るための組織だよ。
The police are an organization that protects.
何かを守るために犠牲は出る。全部守るなんてことは絶対にできない。
But sacrifices have to be made to do that. It's absolutely impossible to protect
全部
everybody.
選ぼうなんてことしたら、逆に救えるはずだった人たちを救うことができなくなるんだ。
If you choose to prioritize protecting everyone, then you'll just end up failing to save people you should have saved.
人には役割がある。守ると決めたなら、
God,
そのために
come on.
譲っちゃいけないものがあるはずだよ。
All people have their roles. If you decide that yours is to protect, then there are lines you can't cross. I couldn't think of a reply to Okazaki's coolly made points. What he was saying was logical. It was the correct mindset for a police officer. My thinking was naive and irrational. Okazaki is saying this for my sake. I understood that well enough. I didn't think that he was being cold. But what was this? I feel detached. The idea that small sacrifices had to be made, hesitation towards one's own duty, killing one's ego to be part of a larger purpose. As I was moved by his unwavering conviction, I also felt a distance opening up between us. My voice got caught in my dry throat, but I had to say what I was thinking. If the police ever hurt me or anyone close to me, I don't know what I'd do. Okazaki was silent for a while. He seemed to be sizing me up. I was afraid that I disappointed him.
普通はそうだよね。簡単には割り切れない。
That's normal. No one could take that lying down. But Okazaki returned to his usual smile.
君は優しくてまっすぐな子だから。誰かの傷を自分のことのように考えられるのも
You're a kind and
本当
straightforward
は悪い
girl.
ことじゃないって
Your
思うわ。
ability to think of others' pain as your own really isn't a bad trait. Okazaki,
でも君の本来の役割を
but don't forget your
忘れない
main duty.
自分の願いを叶えるためには何かを切り捨てなきゃいけない時がきっと来るはずだから。
Are you an angel? The time will come when you have to decide what you need to let go of in order to get what you actually wish for. Yeah, he really had said those things solely out of concern for me, knowing that I couldn't simply reject his words, but I also couldn't accept them right now. Okazaki, you're strong. The words leaked out as I thought how weak I was. Okazaki's eyes went wide in surprise.
俺は強くないよ。弱いからたくさん背負えないだけ。
What? I'm not strong, I just can't handle a lot because I'm weak. Then he mumbled something sadly. I recalled a conversation we'd had before.
俺が守るべきものはね。
Something irreplaceable. Oh my god, who died? He became heartless for that which he protected. He had that determination. What about me? I imagined a pain coming from my neck, the collar under my scarf weighing on my mind. I wanted it gone. I wanted to solve the cases. I wanted to protect people from harm as a cop. They were all my goals. I hadn't prioritized any over the other. But there'd come a time when I'd have to choose. Could I really make that choice?
もうこんな時間。暗いし、家まで送ってくよ。
It's getting late already. I'll take you home. It's getting dark. Damn, that's a dream, right? A guy who just takes you home at the end of your shift every day just to make sure you're safe. So simple. The usual smile and the usual words. It was like nothing had changed. I thought I had gotten closer to his heart, and then I felt like it had moved even further away. Dang. Got real. December 9th, 10:45 a.m. The next day, I decided I'd go to Riku Shigawara's residence under the guise of a patrol again, but Mochida was next to me, and so was Okazaki for some reason.
星野どうなってんだ
Shina, what's going on? Mochida approached me with a confused expression. I'm not sure
は
myself.
じめまして俺は警視庁警護課の
K, okay.
岡崎圭です
Osaki K, okay, he's K. All right, hello, I'm K. K, it's K, not Kai. My apologies. Okazaki from Security Division. Okazaki grinned as usual, not seeming to read the situation.
その警視庁の警護課って SP ですよね
That means
そん
you're
な方がなんで星野と知り合い
SP,
なんです
right? What does Hoshino, how does she know you? Well,
いろいろありまして
a lot has
い
happened.
ろいろっていうのは
A lot, what?
いろいろ
A lot, I see. He's presuming, Mochida.
それより持田さんには彼女が日頃からお世話になってるみたいでありがとうございます
More importantly, it looks like you look after Lee every day. I wanted to thank you for doing that. Huh? You see, what kind of greeting was that? Is he acting like a relative or something? I'd definitely know Mochida longer than Okazaki. I didn't know if Okazaki was doing this on purpose, but it was
あいや
confusing.
こちらこそお世話にっていうか星野とはどういうご関係で
Oh, don't mention it. What's your relationship with Hoshino?
関係
Relationship. I have a bad feeling about this. We're acquaintances?
会って数日だけど一気に距離が縮まった感じかな
We've only met a few days ago, but we've gotten really close fast, right? Okazaki! Don't put it like that.
一気に
Really fast. I see.
とても仲良くさせてもらってます
She's been really friendly with me.
そうですかあそれはめでたい
I
って
see.
いうかなんていうか
That's good, I guess. This is just like earlier with Sakuragawa. He's completely
今日
misunderstanding.
の巡回は俺も同行させてもらいますよろしくお願いします
I'll be going out with her on patrol. I look forward to working together.
はい星野どういうことだ
What the? Wait, what? What does that mean? All I can do is mislead him by laughing. It all started earlier this morning. 8 a.m.
焼死体の被害者の身元が判明しました。木賀敦36歳。
We've identified the burn victim, Atsushi Kiga.
前科あり。多数の女性に対しストーカー行為を繰り返し、準強姦罪での逮捕歴があります。
Okay. He has a record, multiple stalking incidents against women, and convictions for sexual assault of victims unable to give
実刑4
consent.
年の判決を受けており、刑期を終えて半年前に出所しています。
He was sentenced to 4 years in prison and finished his sentence half a year ago. The victim was a stalker, which makes him related to the July homicide. Rika Shigawara could be brought in for questioning today. I have to go see her. When she was under investigation HQ's control, it would be difficult to meet with her. I didn't intend to obstruct the investigation, but for some reason I couldn't let this go. There was no doubt that Rika Shigawara held the key linking the stalking incidents.
捜査権限のない人間が容疑者に接触して事前に捜査内容を漏洩することになる
He'd be contracting a likely criminal and clouding up an
逃走のこ
investigation.
っ
Oh, I
そ
don't
り
want
事件
this.
今度は君が
That's fine. He don't get in the way. That's basically it. It'll be all right. I know. Going to see her today? I am. I'll be okay. I won't do anything crazy. I'm coming with you, but you have your job. I told you, right? Let me protect you. No, honestly, the chances were high that Rika Shigawara was involved in some form. I had to be careful in case the darkest scenario came to pass. It would be a relief if Okazaki was with me. Could I ask you to do that? Of course. We're on friendly terms now, so obviously I want to help. Friendly. In Okazaki's mind, we were apparently now friendly with each other. I have seen him quite a lot over the past few days. I was bewildered, but there was a happiness inside me that I couldn't hide. When I read his message, it unconsciously made me relax. We still didn't know each other very well, but it made me happy to know that he considered us to be on good terms. Maybe I'm a little embarrassed. See you soon. Thanks.
よくわからんが、SP の方についていただけるならありがたい。失礼のないようにするんだぞ、星野。
I don't know what's going on here, but we'd appreciate SP's assistance. Don't be rude to him, Hoshino. Yes, sir.
では、岡崎警部補、よろしくお願いします。
Then, Assistant Inspector Okazaki, thank you for your help. I felt terrible seeing Mochida have to humble himself like that. Now that I think about it, Okazaki was an SP officer from Central HQ, so his jurisdiction supersedes ours. His rank was Assistant Inspector. Maybe I had been acting a bit too casually towards him around the office.
俺は持田さんとも仲良くなりたいな。だって彼女の先輩なんだし。
I want to get along with you, Mochida. You're Lee's superior after all.
仲良くとかとんでもない。恐縮です。
Think nothing of it. You honor me. Mochida, I'm so sorry. I mentally apologized. When we arrive at Rika Shigawara's apartment, I took deep breaths to calm myself down. Mochida stood by at the building's entrance. Okazaki was lurking in the shadows down the hall just in case something happened. He concealed himself at a distance that was just far enough away that he could still hear what was going on. I checked that we were ready and then rang the doorbell. Shigawara came out when she saw that it was me on the monitor. Thank you for the other day. I wanted to talk today. It's about time you came. Huh? Something was wrong. She was uncannily good mood. I saw the news. You ID'd the burn victim from yesterday. She seemed quite happy about the news. You know what that man did? He was just your standard creep. He went through women's trash, took private photos, and even opened their mail. He used listening devices to record every detail of their lives and then sent them those tapes. Then he had spread his bodily fluids on their front door, leaving behind some of the photos he had taken as a complimentary gift. He posted their personal details on the internet and called their workplaces posing as an older man having an affair with them. Also loved to send tons and tons of harassing letters. Letters filled with cheap words of love. Did that happen to you too? She answered with me with a smile. I knew it. I grew tense as I connected the dots in my head. If she had been harassed by Kiga yesterday's burn victim, then she would definitely link her to both the arson murder and to the crime in July. In other words, she was with Adonis. That man saved me. I know. So the man you love is... Oh, did you find someone special? Eh? I was taken aback by her sudden off-topic question. Rika Shigawara squinted at me for a while, then she smiled. That must be it. You've changed somehow.
怖さもあって。
You see, he's my first love. That's why I was afraid of him as I was
ね
happy.
え、あなたの愛する人はどんな人？その人のことを考えるとどんな気持ち？
Hey, what's your beloved like? How do you feel when you think about him? Shigawara blushed as she asked me. She looked kind of like she was a schoolgirl gossiping. Clearly, this conversation was going nowhere. Maybe we was just caught up in her obsession because her demeanor had completely changed from earlier. She sidled up, I don't know, man, up to me with a friendly look. This could be my chance to get intel from her. The guy I like. I can't lie to her. I don't know if that means she'll just like start describing. He's very reliable. Is he now? I just said the first thing that came to mind, but Shigawara giggled innocently.
場所を変えて話さない？どうせ近くに男がいるんでしょ？
Want to talk somewhere else? There are men nearby, aren't there? Well, hesitating, I glanced towards Okazaki, where Okazaki was hiding, but nothing happened. He should tell us without letting himself be noticed. Thinking that, I nodded. Shigawara guided me through the back door of the apartment complex. I figured Okazaki would explain things. I couldn't let this chance escape now that I had gotten Shigawara to be more positive.
こっちよ。
Wait a second. Is that like the same? Keep trying to hit the wrong button. Is that like the same? It looks the same, man. We walked through several narrow paths in the residential area until we finally arrived at a park. I could still remember it clearly. Crimson flames, a still blackened figure, withering heat.
そこのベンチに座りましょう。
Have a seat on this bench. Shigawara shouldn't have known what had happened here, but she calmly sat down on the exact bench a man had burned to death here yesterday. The police cordon had already been removed, but it was still being patrolled by the police. Why did she bring me here? I was bewildered, but I sat down next to her. It would be difficult for Okazaki to eavesdrop on us no matter where he was hitting himself. I hope this all works
私
out.
ね、恋バナってしたことないのよ。初恋だって言ったでしょ？
I've never traded love stories before. I told you this is my first love, right? Would you listen to my story? Love stories. A potential murderer was getting excited about gossiping with me in a park. This was all too surreal. Relax. I have to stay calm and coerce out her
その人の
story.
ことを考えるとね、今までの人生がどうでもよくなるの。
Whenever I think about him, I can just throw out my entire life before I met him.
私はこの人のために生まれてきたんだって心から思ったわ。
From the
その
bottom of
人
my
のた
heart,
めなら
I felt like I
何だ
was
って
born
できる
just
気
for
がする
him.
の。
I feel like I could do anything for his sake. What's he like?
そうね、
Well,
優しい人。
he's kind.
実はね、その人のことあまりよく知らないの。
Actually, I don't know him
で
that
もいい
well.
の。
That's
運命
okay.
の人だって分かって
I
る
know
か
we
ら。
were meant to
だっ
be.
てあの人は私の神様なんだもの。
After all, to me, he's a god. Is that why he is kind?
私の悲しみに
In what way is he
共感して
kind?
くれたわ。
Wow. He sympathized with my sorrow.
最初は私が受けた傷なんて分かりっこない。口先だけで同情してるんでしょって疑った。
At first, he didn't
でも
grasp how badly I'd been
違
hurt.
ったのよ。
I doubted that words could get him to understand, but then I found out I was
あの
wrong.
人は私の悲しみも苦しみも
He
全部
knew exactly how I
理解
felt,
してくれていたわ。
all my sadness, all my
まるで
suffering.
自分のことのように悲しんで泣いてくれた。
He broke down and wept for me like my wounds were his
諦
own.
めなくていい。怯えなくていい。もう悲しまなくて済むように
Don't give up. Don't be afraid. You don't have to be
私
sad
に力を
anymore.
与えてくれた。
He gave me strength. You've been through a lot.
そうね。今となってはもうどうでもいいことだけど、毎日世界のすべてが敵に見えたわ。
None of that stuff matters anymore, though. It felt like the world was against me every
こ
day.
こ昨日の焼死事件の現場だってあなたなら知ってるでしょ。
Did you know that this is where that man burned to death yesterday? Yes, I do.
さっきも言った飢餓という男はね、たくさんの女性に愛を訴えていたの。
The man I mentioned, Kiga, he confessed his love to many women.
殺したいほど愛してるんですって。でもおかしいわよね。それほど愛する人が何人もいるなんて。
He loved them so badly he wanted to kill them. Isn't that bizarre? How could he love so many people that
彼の
much?
愛は自己満足で軽かったのよ。なのにあれだけの
His love was self-serving and shallow, but he couldn't be allowed to just keep doing that, could
毎
he?
日毎日どこに行っても監視されて、その日の私の行動をすべて報告してきて。
Day
ポスト
after
には毎日
day, he watched me wherever I went. He posted everything I did online and write letters about how much he
何
loved
度
me.
引っ越しても何度警察に訴えても何度もついてきた。
No matter how many times I moved, no matter how many times I told the cops, he kept coming. Shigawara's voice grew increasingly grim. I could hear the madness seeping into her voice as she relived her past fears. Just listening to this is painful. Even Ogata must have felt the same massive sense of despair. And someone had taken advantage of it, Adonis probably. You're a victim. You deserve sympathy for everything that's happened to you in the past. So don't add anything else to the list of what you've...
ねえ、あなたの好きな人は
So about the guy you like.
頼りがいがあるって言ってたわよね。
You said he was
他には
reliable. What else do you
ど
like about him? Shigawara wasn't paying attention to me. No, she's pretending she didn't hear me. She had brought me here on purpose, meaning she was probably ready to be arrested. She wasn't even trying to hide her involvement with the murder. Or maybe she knew that there was no possibility she could escape it. She could also be allowing herself to be captured on Adonis's
ね
orders.
え、聞いてるの？
Are you listening?
恋バナに付き合ってくれるんでしょ？
We're here to trade love stories, aren't we? The sight of Shigawara acting like a girl in love made my chest tighten. She had committed sins to defy her tragic past. She was even prepared to be caught, and now she was acting like she had recovered a long-lost treasure. It was impossible to not feel for her. The guy I like is a very strong man. There was no such person, but I spun a tale to satisfy her request. Okazaki suddenly came to mind. Of course, I didn't feel that way about him, but he wanted to help, and I felt better when he was around, and sometimes he made me anxious. Those feelings sounded similar to hers. There are times when I don't know what he's thinking, but he's very gentle. He's always concerned for my sake. When I'm lost, he doesn't just encourage me, he shows me where I
い
need
い
to
人
go.
ね。
He's a good man. Yes, he has an incredible focus on his goals. He's strong. Actually, I don't know what Okazaki's wished for, but I knew that once he decided on something, he was stubborn and unyielding. It's only been a few days, but I guess I've learned a few things about him.
素敵だわ。あなたの恋、
That's
うまくいく
wonderful.
といいわ
I
ね。
hope your romance goes well. Thank you. Miss Shigawara, how are things progressing with your partner?
進展？
Progress?
そうね。叶うなら一緒に死にたいわ。
So things are going great. If it's possible, I'd like to die with him. Her muttered reply was full of affection and
寒くなってき
sadness.
たわ。戻りましょう。
It's getting cold. Let's head back. Okay. Shigawara quickly rose and I hurriedly followed her. I still hadn't gotten her to tell me anything that could be used as a solid lead. I also hadn't thought of any way to convince her to stop. Conceive. On the way back to Shigawara's home, I thought about how to solve this. So she really was one of Kiga's stalking victims. She was holding a piece of paper that was like the one I had seen burning around the dead body. The answer came naturally when I pieced together all the fragments of information I had so far. In the past, she had received that note from the stalker Kiga. She should have been safe once Kiga was arrested, but then another stalker targeted her, Shimizu. On top of all that, she felt cornered once Kiga was released. I couldn't pretend not to see it anymore. While I didn't know if she directly participated in the killing, she was undoubtedly a suspect.
楽しかったわ。付き合ってくれてあり
That
がとう。
was fun. Thank you for coming with me. Oh, not at all.
もう会うことはないと思うけど、あなたの恋
I don't
応
think
援してるわね。
we'll be seeing each other again, but I'll root for your love. With that, she started to re-enter her apartment. Please wait.
何？
What? Now wasn't the time to fuss over decorum. This is what I should do. I wanted to protect those who'd been hurt. I just couldn't compromise on that. I don't care if I lose my job. Before I knew it, I'd already asked the question. Adonis threatened you, didn't they? You told me that happened to you. I know that you're not trying to run away, but as I was about to try to convince her to turn herself
何を
in.
言ってるの？
What are you talking about? Her demeanor abruptly
脅され
changed.
た？私が？あの人が私を脅したって言うの？
Me? Threatened? You're saying that he threatened me? But you could have been instigated.
ふざけないでよ！
Got the crap. I stiffened at the angry shriek. Her eyes were now burning with unimaginable rage.
何がわかるって言うの？あの人の何がわかるのよ？
What could you possibly understand? What do you think you know about
私
him?
は脅されてなんていない。やっと普通に愛することを知ったのよ。やっと普通の人間になれるのに。
I haven't been threatened. I finally learned what love is. I can finally be a normal person.
私は生まれ変わるの。邪魔しないでって言ったでしょ。
I'm going to be reborn. Didn't I tell you not to get in the way of that?
あの男が逮捕されて、やっと普通の生活に戻れると思ったのに。
I thought that I could return to a normal life once that man was arrested, but then another one showed up.
私ばかりがこんな目に遭うの。普通に好きな人から愛されたかっただけ。愛したかっただけなのに。
Why does this always happen to me? I just wanted to be loved by a normal person. I wanted to love someone.
私を愛するのはいつもおかしな男ばかり。
It's fair. Why do only the crazy ones come after me? Why? Tell me. She's not listening anymore. I glanced down the hallway and spotted the cuff of Okazaki's uniform. I could handle a woman on her size by myself, but I need backup if she turned violent. I might need him to step in if things escalate much further.
でもね、もう昔の私じゃないの。
But I'm not the old me anymore because I've been
今の
reborn.
私は愛する人から必要とされてる。ちゃんと役目をこなしてる。
My beloved needs the new me, and I'm doing my duty.
ちゃんと愛し愛されてるのよ。ね、すごいでしょ。
Somebody finally loves me. Isn't that amazing? It's wonderful, right? Ah! She seized me by my shirt collar, her eyes bloodshot. My shirt button popped open with her sudden pull. My collar had been exposed. This is bad, but if tell her it's just an accessory. I covered my neck in a flurry, but Shigawara was staring directly at my neck. What's that? Are you one of the targets? Huh?
私は聞いてないわ。ゼロがあなたに与えたの？特別に？
Are you a
警察の人間なのに？
comrade? No one told me this. Did Zero give you that? He made an exception for a
あなたは
cop?
カウントダウンに参加してないわよね。手を汚してないのにどうして？
You're not part of the countdown, are you? So why? Your hands aren't dirty. Why you? Just hold on. I don't know what you...
嘘だわ。ゼロが選んだのは私なのよ。
I did say Zero was a good name for a person. Lies! You're lying! Zero chose me! I stepped back in confusion. I had no idea what she was rambling about. Ooh. She did. Suddenly, clutched her head in her hands and squatted down, moaning. What's wrong? I rushed over, worried. She muttered something to herself.
怒っているの。ごめんなさい。お願い。怒らないで。お願いだから。
Zero, are you angry? I'm sorry. Please don't be mad at me, please.
この女は仲間なのね。あなたにとって。
She's one of ours, right? She's important to you, isn't she? Miss Shigawara?
ごめんなさい。本当にごめんなさい。許して。
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Forgive
こ
me.
の女を殺してみせるから。
I'll kill her for you right now. There was a sudden flash of light from above. She was swinging a knife down at me. Get down! I immediately dropped to the ground in response. Okazaki had silently appeared, snapping. Oh my god, my brain went to a kick that knocked Shigawara's knife away. The knife clattered to the ground, spinning. Out of my way! Okazaki! As Shigawara recovered and advanced again, Okazaki took hold of her hand and... It all happened in an instant. She lost consciousness and fell to the ground.
柔道でいう締め技をかけただけだから命に別状はないよ。
I just used a judo hold on her. Her life isn't in danger. Thank
怪我はない。
you. Did you get hurt? No, I'm fine. As I said that, I looked at Shigawara on the floor. She recognized my collar. That could only mean that she had a different connection to Adonis. But what did she mean by comrade? And she said something about a countdown. And who's this Zero? I was confused, but I tried to maintain at least the appearance of composure. Okazaki, arrest her for obstruction of a public service. But just as the words were leaving my lips, I stiffened as an unbelievable scene began to unfold before my eyes.
動かないで。
Don't move. Oh god. Suddenly I forgot to take a photo just now. This isn't time for jokes. I managed to get those words out, but once I saw his eyes, I was terrified. Those were not the eyes of a man who was joking around.
その首輪は何？
What is that collar? I tried to cover up my neck, but it was too late. He'd already seen everything.
彼女との会話も聞こえた。仲間なのかって言ってたね。
I heard you talking to her. She asked if you were a comrade. That was a mistake. I frantically searched for the right words, but my thoughts were distant, distracted by the different source of dread. Okazaki, a police officer, had learned about the existence of my collar. If the police found out, I was to be executed. No, not here. I recalled the threat I'd been issued before, and I couldn't stop myself from trembling. I had no idea when the pain of my fatal poison began injecting would come.
岡崎圭さん。彼女は我々の良き理解者です。決して危害は加えないでください。
Kei Okazaki, she is one of our sympathizers. Please do not cause her any further harm. Okazaki's expressionly diverted his pistol aim from me to the collar. Did that voice come from here?
星野さん、君はアドニスの一員。X デーに関わる犯人。脅されているだけの警察官。
Are you part of Adonis? Did you aid their crimes or were you just threatened into doing it? Okazaki's eyes narrowed and his fingers came to rest on the trigger of his gun. This was no joke. He'd probably shoot me without hesitation if he didn't like my answer. If I spoke the truth, I'd be poisoned to death. If I could think up a convincing lie, Okazaki would shoot me. Couldn't think of, sorry. My dilemma played out in an endless mental loop and I broke out in a cold sweat. Answer me quickly.
彼女の代わりに我々が答えましょう。
Allow us to answer on her behalf.
彼女は我々に必要な人間であり、あなた方警察の味方でもある存在です。
She is necessary to us, yet also an ally to your police
彼女は
officers.
善良な人間です。むやみに死なせたくなければ、決してこのことは口外しないように。
She is a good person. If you do not want her to die a meaningless death, we suggest that you do not speak of this matter
ですが、我々
any
の
further.
邪魔になるようであれば、彼女のことも排除します。
We will not hesitate to purge her if she becomes a problem to us. The voice stopped. There was a strained silence. I stood stock still. The silence seemed to go on forever. Okazaki's pistol, the barrel never wavering, stayed trained on me. All right, it's time to take our break. We have reached chapter 3. What will happen next? We'll have to find out next. Oh wait, I can't save yet.
昨日起きた事件の近所に住んでるのよ。
Alright.
怖いから引っ越したいんだけど、補助は出るわよね。なんだったら新居を用意してくれてもいいわ。
Alright, so we survived. We survived another day. Maybe? I don't know actually, I didn't say yet. We're gonna find out later if we survived another day. Still very confused, but that's okay. This is the first playthrough, so there's usually, you know, a little pieces here and there from each one of them. We're gonna learn who Zero is, hopefully. Not necessarily in this one, but at some point, and I'm very excited to see if this is another character that we get introduced to. Well, thank you so much for watching me. I upload all my streams onto YouTube. If you like to see my newer stuff, you can visit me on Twitch. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your night, guys. Bye.